Tomorrow night, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup reaches its halfway point in the Bank of America 500 here at Charlotte. So after the big wreck at Talladega and the standings all shaken up, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle have some ground to make up, and qualifying was rained out. They start right behind Jimmie Johnson when the green flag waves. 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on ABC. In the last Nationwide Series race here back in May, Kyle Busch, driving the Braun 32 car, had some trouble in the pits. His team had a slow stop when the jack wasn't raised high enough to change the tires. He fell back to 8th place off this pit stop. So when another caution waved quickly after the restart, Kyle's crew called him back to pit road, topped off the fuel. Then when the other leaders stopped, 32 laps later, the 32 car stayed on the track, took the lead, and never gave it up. Kyle Busch winning that race with the help of a little strategy. Our champion crew chief, Andy Petrie, joins us now from the broadcast booth where he's getting ready to call tonight's race. Andy, that was a case of a team turning a negative into a positive, and it didn't happen purely by accident.
Well, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, Alan. What a crew chief does is he processes a lot of information and tries to make his decision on whether he's going to make a pit stop or how he's going to run his strategy. A lot of times circumstances will dictate how you do that and your circumstance that you're in. If you happen to be the leader, you're going to make a different decision than if you happen to be maybe the last car on the lead lap. And sometimes a mistake might put you there. And so, use all that information. One of the biggest pieces of that criteria sometimes is the driver, the guy that you got behind the wheel. Can he take a car with just fuel only, put him out front, can he bring you home? So I've seen a lot of different situations that work that way. You just take them as they come and you play it by ear.
Having Kyle Busch behind the wheel, that's certainly a useful tool in a crew chief's box, that's for sure. Hey, knowing what you've seen in practice throughout the day today, are we going to see a lot of strategy moves on pit road tonight?
I think we will, Alan, because this tire holds its speed very well. These guys can go out there and run a lot of laps on these things, and they'll come right back and run fast laps after they've cooled down. So yes, I do believe we'll see that. We may see some gas and goes, 2 tires. There's a lot of strategy options available to the crew chiefs tonight.
All right, Andy, we'll let you tell us all about it as it happens. Talk to you in just a little bit, okay?
Okay, Al.
Thanks. Andy Petrie getting ready to call the race upstairs. Rusty, knowing what you know about the tires tonight, you are thinking...
Strike fast. I mean, get it done right now, because Andy's right. The tires are pretty good, but the first 5 laps, these things are bullet fast. They go really fast, and then they slow up and they stabilize. That's pretty well what Andy's talking about. The tires are hanging around for a long time. But those first 5, 10 laps, you're going to see in the lap charts, those babies are flying out there, and that's the reason I say get it done fast, strike fast, pass those cars when you can pass them, and don't just mess around, because those tires are going to slow up, and then it's going to be harder to pass.
Green means go.
Green means go. But you can utilize both strategies. You can be very aggressive like Rusty's talking about and take advantage of a strong hot rod, or just like Kyle Busch there, that was a very smart move. Maybe come in, top it off, get a load of fuel, stay out, and try to stay out in front of the pack. I'd rather have those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, though, and be charging in this group, but you can do either one.
Change of directions now. Tonight is one of the rare Nationwide Series starts for Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie starts 10th tonight in the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Rick Hendrick number 5 car. He's hoping to repeat the success he's enjoyed on this track on the Sprint Cup side.
Jimmie Johnson wins his 2nd straight Coke 600.
Jimmie Johnson wins the UAW GM Quality 500.
It's the Charlotte Sweep.
Jimmie Johnson, 48 car. He did it.
4 in a row at Lowe's.
Oh, I don't know how you guys can say domination, but I'll say it. Yeah, domination.
And you always expect when you come to the Lowe's Motor Speedway that it's Jimmie's house in the Sprint Cup Series. And even you've been trying to convince everybody, don't pay attention to me in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. But you qualified very well, so can we expect a little more out of you tonight in this series?
I hope so. It hasn't been from a lack of effort. Hendrick, when it was their Busch cars, they've tried awfully hard. Junior Motorsports has as well, and the car's driving really good. I just have to figure out how to drive these low horsepower vehicles. I feel it's doing the right things, qualified well, and I hope I have found the keys for this weekend of this house, this Lowe's Motor Speedway that everybody calls our house. Casey Kane's had it here, especially on the Cup side the last few times we've been back. We've got a great car on the Cup side, and this thing's not too bad itself.
What one thing have you put into it this weekend that you feel like maybe you've made a little more progression in how you drive these cars?
I'm looking for the car to turn with the throttle, and it's tough with these cars because you're almost flat out the whole way around. So I don't have that luxury to drive it with the throttle like I do on the Cup side. But they have the car turning well, so when I land and I ask it to do something where I normally want my right foot to do it, it's giving me that response with the steering wheel, and the car's driving well. So hopefully we got it all set up and we're ready to go.
Alan, adaptability has made him a two-time Cup champion. Maybe that can help him here tonight in the Nationwide Series.
Jimmie starts 10th in tonight's race, David. Top two drivers in the NASCAR Nationwide Series Championship start close to the front tonight. Points leader Clint Boyer qualified 5th in his Chevrolet, while Carl Edwards will start 3rd in his Ford. We'll keep an eye on those two and check the standings when NASCAR Countdown returns. Another big name in the field. He's got a lot more work to do to get to the checker flag in this one. Casey Kane, former winner here, got to come from way back tonight, starting in 33rd position. It's NASCAR Countdown from Charlotte.
Man, to not have to worry about the stock market.
Get ready for the start at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series 300-miler. Boy, the grid's a busy place just before the ceremonies, isn't it?
There is more people on the pit road than there is in the grandstands right now. I mean, look at all those people.
Oh, they'll all be there in a minute. A lot of family, a lot of friends at this home track with drivers hoping to do well tonight before all of those people special to them. By the way, you'll see throughout the weekend pink-colored race cars, the pink ribbons on our lapels supporting the fight against breast cancer, happen to be part of the awareness of that issue over the weekend. So let us go. That's Rusty showing off his nice pink ribbon. There you go. Very nice. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the University of North Carolina at Charlotte Air Force ROTC Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Remain standing as Billy Malden, chaplain for Motor Racing Outreach, offers tonight's invocation.
Almighty God, Heavenly Father, we just pause here for a moment to give you thanks for the opportunity that we have to enjoy this race tonight. We give you thanks for the sponsors and all the efforts of the track here to put this event on to make it possible. We ask you to watch over the competitors and all the folks working down on pit road tonight, Lord. Keep them safe. Let it be a safe race. We also pause and remember the men and women in uniform serving and protecting our freedoms both at home and abroad. Watch over them. Keep them safe. I ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Now please welcome Toby Keith's Show Dog Nashville recording artist Brent and Brian Flynn of Plinville Train as they perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So time for the drivers to buckle in, and the NASCAR version of Friday Night Lights gets set to roll on. 43 drivers, 300 miles on the very tricky beast of the Southeast. NASCAR Nationwide Series Racing at Charlotte is brought to you by Hankook Tires, Tame the Road, and by Planters, Instinctively Good. Getting ready to go. Weather forecast earlier in the week showed tonight's race as being iffy, but the front that was funneling a lot of moisture through this area the past few days is supposed to have moved away. Only supposed to be a 20% chance of showers tonight. I guess we'll just have to see. Let's head upstairs to Dr. Jerry Punch, who's going to lead our call of the race tonight. Doc, you ready?
We're ready, AB, and take a look at the point standings for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Clint Boyer, 196-point lead over Carl Edwards. Brad Keselowski trying to climb back in it. Mike Bliss is the leading Nationwide Series only competitor, back in 4th position. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie. We are glad to have you with us here at Lowe's Motor Speedway tonight. With just 5 races remaining in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, the clock is ticking for the points contenders. And, guys, quite simply is, how does Carl Edwards catch Clint Boyer?
Pedal down. Go as fast as he possibly can. Try to lead laps and see if he can force Clint Boyer and his team into a mistake somewhere along the way. They have to try to win all of these races.
And that's the key thing. Clint Boyer's team has to be solid. That's really all they have to do. They don't have to do anything fancy. They don't have to go out there on a limb and try to win races. Just be solid. Don't give away a lot of points, and this championship can be theirs.
There is quite a bit of added star power in this field tonight. There are 13 drivers who are going to pull double duty, run both tonight and in tomorrow night's NASCAR Sprint Cup event. 6 of those drivers are chase contenders, including points leader Jimmie Johnson. How risky is that?
It's pretty risky, really. I've always been an owner and a crew chief that would like to let these guys race. If they want to race, let them run as many times as they can. But as we saw last week with Denny Hamlin blowing a tire at Talladega, you can still get hurt in these cars, and there's a lot at stake for these top guys. You see these top 3, they can, there's a lot of risk there.
Yeah, there really is, Andy, but I think Jimmie Johnson being here just shows how committed he is to his sponsor with Lowe's and to everyone in this area, to his race fans that are here. And I know that there's a lot of Lowe's people here, so I think that just shows his commitment to his sponsor and to his fans, and he's willing to take that risk, and don't think we'll see much after this one.
Historically, this race here for the NASCAR Nationwide Series car under the lights in October is a wild one. We see lots of caution flags, lots of pushing and shoving. What is it about this place and these guys who are racing at home that they get so crazy?
I don't know. It might be the speed in this racetrack. We saw already this weekend in the qualifying session for the Nationwide race here we're going to cover. It was very, very exciting. A lot of guys on edge. A lot of them wrecked and went to backup cars. So I think we're going to see a very exciting race here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Speed has a lot to do with it, and when they get side by side and lose some of that arrow that they have, it really makes for an exciting adventure down into the corners.
Should be fun to watch here. 43 of NASCAR's finest, and of course a lot of drivers doing double duty here tonight and tomorrow night in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. A star-studded field as we get set to go trackside to get the command to fire them up.
And now it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome Dollar General District Manager for Central Wisconsin, Ted Ruckery, as he gives the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Crank them up. Yes, go ahead and crank up. Fired up. All right, bud, fired up. Fired up. All right, buddy, crank it when you're ready. Thank you for all that you do. Do everything we can. But do what you always do.
Engines have fired, and 43 of NASCAR's finest in the NASCAR Nationwide Series set to do battle here for 300 miles on the 1.5-mile oval in Concord, North Carolina. Tonight will be the final NASCAR Nationwide Series start of 2008 for Jeff Burton. Now, Jeff hasn't won this year, but he comes to a great place because he has been a 3-time winner here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Can he get it done? We'll talk to him as our in-race reporter in a moment. Field getting set to move off of pit road here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at our starting grid. Making only his 8th start here in 2008. Jamie McMurray picks up his 2nd pole of the year. And while you watch to see where your favorite driver is starting, let's visit with our in-race reporter, Jeff Burton, driver of the Holiday Inn Chevrolet, who starts 2nd tonight.
Hey, Jeff, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy? Hey, Jeff, great qualifying effort, but can you explain to our viewers just how difficult it is to set a car up to race at night when you practice during the day and you have the high speeds we have at this track?
This place is probably with maybe the exception of Indy, it changes more than anywhere else. And it's really hard at daytime, real slick racetrack. At night, you get a ton of grip. The car wants to travel more, get more load on the front tires. Just a lot of stuff happens. So it's real hard to get it good in the day and then be good at night. But fortunately, we had a practice this morning and it was cold, overcast. So I think that was a meaningful practice.
All right, Jeff, our second question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and one of your fans, Jamie in Davis, California, would like to know, being fourth in chase points, what made you decide to run this race tonight? Jeff, our second question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Jamie in Davis, California, would like to know, being fourth in chase points, what made you decide to run this race tonight?
We're going to continue doing it because it's fun. So that's why we do it. It's, to be honest, it's just, boys having fun.
We got you. Thanks a lot. Have a great night. We'll talk to you later on. Now, Andy's going to talk with your crew chief, Pat Smith.
Hey, Pat, Andy Petrie up here in the booth. Have you got us?
I got you, Andy.
Hey, Pat, it seems like this track and tire combination works extremely well. What's going to be the winning strategy at the end of this thing tonight?
We'll have to play it by ear. Goodyear's brought a really good tire here. It goes a long ways. We chose to put on tires in the first race there, and we kind of got beat by that, but we'll play it by ear here.
Okay, Pat, you guys have a good luck, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Andy.
Jeff Burton won this race here 1 year ago, and Pat Smith made some critical calls late in that one to get him to victory lane. Well, racing is difficult here, but some of the guys have had a tough day, and we haven't even raced yet. Early in the day, the 32 car, former series champion Brian Vickers had issues. Mike?
Well, Doc, when crew chief Trent Owens thinks of the Lowe's Motor Speedway, one race comes to mind. That's October 2006. That's when he crew chief Dave Blaney to his only victory here. It was his only victory as a crew chief as well. But bear in mind, that was Friday the 13th. And Trent Owens says it was a night when he used up all his luck. And that proved to be true here today. On the first lap of qualifying, as you just saw, Brian Vickers smack the wall. He's in a backup car with a completely changed setup, hoping to make his way from the back to the front tonight. But Owens says he's not sure what to expect, Dave.
Mike, last week at the Talladega Sprint Cup Series race, Denny Hamlin was involved in a grinding crash. That did a couple of things. It forced him to spend an overnight at a local hospital for observation. It dropped him to 12th in the Sprint Cup Series chase for the for the Sprint Cup. But it also caused him to reconsider his commitment to Braun Racing to run a Camry here tonight for them, a second Dollar General car for tonight's race sponsor. They decided not to do it. They put veteran Dave Blaney in the car, who's not been in a nationwide car since Homestead last year. Now, some things have changed since then, including the tapered spacer, which reduces horsepower. I asked Dave how he felt about the racing. He said, I expected it to be different, but I've adapted to it. What the heck? He's a pro. Shannon?
Well, Dave, Casey Kane starting this race 33rd tonight. The team told me they did not make a qualifying run in practice session. The car was a little tight, and they really needed to work on race trim. But despite that 33rd starting position, the team has all the confidence in the world in their driver. With 3 Cup wins and 1 nationwide win here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, they know they have the driver who can win a race here. They told me all we have to do is get that car right, and we've got a chance. Jamie Little?
Well, Shannon, points leader Clint Boyer off to a pretty good start today. He qualified 5th. That's the best he's ever done here at Charlotte. But this happens to be a pretty good racetrack for him. He's had 4 top 10s in a row. Never a win, but this race 1 year ago, he spun while leading. I talked to crew chief Dan Deeringhoff. He said they're pretty optimistic about tonight. They had a great car last year. They brought that same car back. And their driver, he's pretty hungry for a win tonight. Doc?
He should do well. Pretty excited when I talked to him earlier in the weekend. Now, we will be riding along with 8 different cars. They'll be carrying onboard cameras. We watch the action throughout this 1.5 mile 24-degree bank tri-oval here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. We will go over the wall with David Rudiman's jackman, Mitch Lash. And there's no place like home. That's what Dorothy said in The Wizard of Oz, right?
Everybody glad to be home. Racing here in Charlotte is a home game for most of these teams.
Yeah, they like that, and they get excited to be. They got friends and family all here watching them, too.
Problem is everybody wants to protect the home turf, and that's why it gets so crazy here. Our race analysis, it is a 300-mile, 200-lap race. There's the pit road speed. The pit window, that's what can be a little iffy here.
Yeah, we got it pretty big here because there'll be some different guys that can get better mileage than others, and we still don't know what the winning strategy is. I tried to get it out of Pat Smith, but he just wouldn't quite come out with it.
Guys, what about some sleepers tonight? Some guys that can step up and pull this win off. DJ?
Yeah, we talked a lot about David Reagan this year, and I think this might be an opportunity for him to get to victory lane. He's still looking for that first victory in the Nationwide Series, and I think this could come tonight for him.
Another David is the guy I'm picking, David Stremme. He didn't qualify good. He's back there in the back, about 32nd spot, but he's got a good car. He was great in practice, and I'm looking for this red 64 to start driving to the front.
It is hard to believe that David Stremme, as good as he has been in the NASCAR Nationwide Series car, has never won one of these races. He's finished second 3 times, twice this year driving the Rusty Wallace Incorporated cars, and of course he goes next year full-time in the Penske Dodge for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Front row, the 17 car. By the way, for you trivia buffs, the 17 car started on the front row the last 5 races here in a row. 4 times with Matt Kenseth, and tonight with Jamie McMurray.
I'm going to see if they'll let me drive that thing next year if it's going to start up front all the time.
You're done. You're staying with us.
That's right. Yeah. These first laps are going to be exciting, though. These guys are going to be double wide, and we talked about how you have to really be careful getting loose into the corner.
Jamie McMurray on the inside, Jeff Burton on the outside. Fans on their feet at Lowe's Motor Speedway under the lights for the NASCAR Nationwide Series cars. They come down to take the green flag. McMurray has the advantage, and they are side by side still for second place. Burton now gets a half a car length in the high group.
Yeah, makes a nice little run off there on outside of Carl Edwards, who ducks into the 3rd spot now. A lot of single file now. I think these guys understand that too. Start of this race, how treacherous it can be.
Here's one guy that doesn't probably know much about how treacherous. Here we go. Got a spin already.
40 car, Brian Clausen.
Yellow's out behind you, turn 2.
That's the rookie driver for Felix Sabates and Chip Ganassi.
Light damage, left rear. See if you get it going, Brian.
Thought these guys were going to settle down here and get going.
Left side.
I didn't see. We can see on the replay. You know, we talked about in qualifying how this car was bottoming out, and now they've got low air pressure in the tires. Be interesting to see if that's what happened here.
Yeah, you see
sparks.
Absolutely flying out of this car, getting in the corner. Brian Clausen loses control there and gets in the wall. He's got more than just a little damage there too.
Not been a good weekend for Brian. He was due to make his Cup Series debut, and it rained out qualifying. He had to put that on hold, and now in lap 1 of the Nationwide race, he is the reason for the yellow flag. We said it gets crazy here in a hurry. We thought we'd get a whole lap in, but that was not the case. Under caution here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Back at Lowe's Motor Speedway, 19-year-old Brian Clausen has had a tough day. Lap 1 and couldn't get through the complete lap, and that car looped around and popped the wall. And earlier today, Brad Daugherty, you were down there, you talked with Brian. What do you have to say about what he thought was going to happen tonight?
Yeah, Doc, I hung out with Brian, and we were talking about him missing his opportunity for a Cup start, but about this race car, he just said the race car was so loose, he just could not drive it. He was very, very afraid that this would happen, that he would get it in the wall one way or another, and he sure did.
They're going to try to work and get him back out. While they work, let's listen in to the radio for Joey Logano.
Started the wrong gear on that start.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what happened.
Yeah. It was going to work. I was going to start in first gear, and then they picked up the pace, and I kept it in first gear. Probably should start second. But I learned.
Yes, sir. You're ready for all the rest of them.
Hard to make that first gear restart work, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough. You always have to make that decision, but yeah, that's starting in first. You have to really be careful. You don't want to over-rev the engine either as you guys pick up speed. So, as he said, he learned.
Getting set for the green here, guys. McMurray's going to lead him down. Burton Edwards. By the way, Kyle Busch in one lap has gone from 16th to 12th. He gained 4 spots in half a lap, I should say, under the green. And here we come down, see if we can get some green flag racing in. Watch Clint Boyer back there on the right side of your screen. See if he can make a move underneath the 20 car of Logano. Here he comes.
You called that one, Doc. He's got a good run there on Joey Logano.
He must have seen that first restart, too. See Boyer on the inside there. Jeff Burton, a good restart right on the bumper. Jamie McMurray. But Clint Boyer not able to make that pass there. So he's going to lose a spot also to Kevin Harvick. Well, it looks like he is.
And Dave Blaney will also try to come by on the outside to take another spot away. Blaney in the 10 car. That was to be driven by Denny Hamlin tonight.
Oh, trouble off of 4.
Got a car sliding through the grass.
31 car, and he took.
Yellow and 4.
That is Jeff Green, the former series champion, and lots
Stop
of.
right there. There you go, man. Come on.
Lots of mud and grass up on the racetrack. He was sideways coming off.
Right rear flat.
Yeah, I think he might have got a little bit of help there. They were all jammed up coming out of that corner. Could have possibly got hit.
Check all the tires are up. Sure did mess up the grass, though. Boy, it was so pretty.
Wow.
And he took the commitment cone down to middle of the front straightaway.
See these guys here.
Well,
Mike Bliss.
They were jammed up.
Maybe might have got just in the back of him there. Jeff wasn't going as fast as Mike Bliss and Brad Keselowski were wanting to. Messed up the logo there in the infield. It's probably the least of his concern.
Looking outside, outside, outside. One more outside.
Yeah.
Clear.
You could see.
There's almost something wrong with Jeff Green.
Yeah,
he
you
couldn't
can
go
see
at
he's
all.
really struggling.
You could hear Mike Bliss getting in and out of the throttle like, okay, when you going, when you going? And it just never did get going.
Was he trying to get down pit road? You think Jeff was trying to make that turn like he was wobbling, like he was, or did they just hit him and he turned that way?
Yeah, I don't know. He was really struggling for sure there. Mike Bliss was doing everything he could to stay off of his bumper, and it finally got to the point that he just couldn't get out of the throttle enough.
So 2 laps under green and 2 caution flags.
So it's gonna be a while.
Lots of cleanup because of the mud and grass up on the racetrack there because of the heavy rains here yesterday, last night, and a good bit of the morning. Under caution for the second time here on lap number 7. Back in a moment. Eight laps complete here in the Dollar General 300. And as you can see, the rains, the showers moved back across the racetrack. We thought we were going to have some clearing tonight. We had some showers on and off today. They did get NASCAR Sprint Cup happy hour in, and no one expected this shower to come back across, but they have pulled the cars down pit road. We were working caution flag because of the contact between the 1 car and the 31. Let's listen to the radio here.
Yeah, boy, I don't know what the hell he's doing stopping.
Yeah, he kind of saw what we saw there. He didn't really know what. Jeff Green looked like he was just struggling. I don't know if the car was that loose that he couldn't just get off the corner. You could see the 31 car right here. We heard from Mike Bliss's in-car camera that he was really in and out of the throttle trying to give Jeff every chance he could to get around there.
I'm like you, I believe, Jerry. I think he was trying to get to pit road. It almost looked like he was just completely out of the throttle here.
That car's really moving
Looking
around there.
outside, outside, outside. One more outside. Clear.
You know, I thought he was going to try to, because he was having issues, maybe try to get down pit road, not the way he came, though.
Yeah, Mike Bliss was helping him get there a little quicker than he was ready to. But yeah,
we actually heard him too say that they thought they had a flat right rear, so that might have been why he was trying to get down pit road.
I guess probably Jeff Green's the only one that can tell us that if that's what he was doing.
Well, this little rain shower was able to sneak up on us a little bit here. All the forecasts were that the showers would be out. It would be clearing. Maybe this is one of those clearing up showers.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope.
Carl Edwards in the car, currently sitting in 3rd spot. Jamie McMurray has led all 8 laps thus far from the pole. Well, the first caution flag came out on lap 1. Brian Clausen had an issue. Mike.
And Doc, he's just climbing out of the race car right now. Brian, what happened?
Yeah, I don't really know. We were just kind of moving there on the high line a little bit, and got into 1 and 2 there, and it felt like it bottomed out. I guess I'll kind of have to look at it, but it felt like it bottomed out, and then just when the front end finally caught it, just snapped around on me and lost it.
We've been struggling all day and made a lot of changes going into tonight and weren't really sure what we had, and I guess that's part of going out there with not really knowing what you got is making a little bit of a mistake like that.
As you mentioned, you've been struggling all day. Bottoming it out, has that been the chronic problem throughout the course of the weekend for you guys?
No. We've been tight all weekend, and we did some things that to help us turn, and it caused us to get the front end a little bit too low, and we bottomed out during qualifying there and thought we made enough adjustment after qualifying to fix it, and I don't think we did. So we'll see. We'll have to go back and look at it and see if we actually bottomed out or anything, and look it over and see what exactly happened.
And Doc, this is a tough break for Brian Clausen and this entire 40 team. I spoke with Brad Parrott at the beginning of the weekend, asked him to assess their mile-and-a-half program, and he said, in a word, terrible. This doesn't make it any better.
No, they did have a good run, though, at Kentucky, where he finished 5th on the mile-and-a-half track. Here are the rookie points, and remember, he is the only rookie of this group here that's actually in the field tonight, or was in the field. 1 point back behind Landon Castle, who shares that 5-car with Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and others. Clausen having issues. We are under caution now. A red for the second time tonight. Lowe's Motor Speedway NASCAR Nationwide Series action. If you just joined our coverage, we've had 2 laps of green, 2 caution flags, and now a red flag. The field parked on pit road because of a brief shower that's just moved across the track very quickly and dissipated. They're trying to dry the track, and we hope to be able to get these drivers back in the cars here momentarily. Let's check in down on the grid with Shannon.
Yeah, Jeff Burton did get out of his car, but he has gotten back into his car. I got to ask you, 2 cautions in the first 3 laps. You surprised at how aggressive it's been?
I'm not surprised at all. I think it's going to be. I mean, honestly, you got a lot of people up front that want to win really badly, and some people in the back coming that want to win too. So I think it's going to be a really entertaining race. I'm looking forward to it. I think the second groove's going to get good later on tires, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Now, I probably know the answer to this question, but have you been able to determine anything about your car with this little time that we've had so far?
We're loose, and that's probably a good thing. I don't think we want to be too tight right now. So, and got a little surprised. We got a little bit more travel than I thought we would, and bottomed some stuff out that first time. So that surprised me. Hopefully that won't impede us in what we need to do later on when we put tires on again. So we might have to come up with some pressures or something, but that surprised me a little bit, but I don't think it'll be a problem anymore just when you first put on tires.
Now, Dale Jarrett wanted to know if you were having a problem pushing the button here inside your car to talk to him today?
Which one? This one?
Is that the button you're supposed to press to talk to Dale Jarrett?
I don't know. I get confused. I think that's the Dale Jarrett button. I get confused. Maybe it's that one. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll have to put a little name tag on this button for Jeff Burton up there, DJ.
And Carl Edwards, we're just sitting in here listening to the conversation going on. So he's 3rd on the board right now. And Carl, you came over the radio early on. You said it's going to be really important in the pits tonight because you got a good one. How good is your car?
The Scott's winter guard fusion's good. It's hard to tell, though. We just got, 1 or 2 laps at a time there, but it seems pretty fast. Jamie's real fast. It looks like Joey's real fast running that second group. So just excited to get some racing, and it looks like they just gave us a 2-minute warning. So we'll be going back soon. But, it's an important race for everybody. Drew's got his family here. Everybody's got their friends and family, and there's a lot of pride on the line here at Lowe's.
A lot of pride, especially for Roush Fenway. They have a lot of wins here. I believe 10. It's entirely more than any other team. And his girlfriend surprised him. His family's here as well. Mike Massaro?
Well, Jamie, after having to go to a backup car because of a qualifying crash, crew chief Trent Owens really didn't know what they had. Now, the driver has a pretty good idea. That's Brian Vickers. How would you describe the race car here early on?
Pretty good. We haven't really had an opportunity to open it up yet and really run hard. But I've been really happy with the car so far. One thing we had to come in and do was knock the valence down. That's not something you would think about, but because this car hasn't had any practice, we didn't really know where to put it.
Well, Doc, as you can hear, the motors have been refired. They're about to go back out on the racetrack, so we'll cut this interview short.
Music to our ears, Mike. They're getting the cars refired. I want to go back to something Jeff Burton said a moment ago, talking about how he was a little bit surprised about how much travel the car had and the air pressures. Is that probably what happened in the Brian Clausen? Jeff talked about his car bottoming out going into turn 1.
Yeah, Andy, you'll actually pick up speed when this racetrack cools down. So when you pick up that speed, you're picking up downforce on the race car, and so it will travel more. These guys try to be ready for that, but you don't always get it, because that's one, just like what we were asking Jeff, how difficult is it to set that car up for the night?
Well, they're impound races, and that's what we heard them talking about. How, you know, you get these cars set up just before qualifying. You have to set them up for qualifying and for racing, and sometimes you kind of miss that just a little bit. NASCAR doesn't let you work on it anymore after qualifying.
They're going to roll them off here momentarily. We're going to get back to racing. Jimmie Johnson sitting there in the car number 5. We'll be back with the green flag in just a moment.
The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues tomorrow night here in Charlotte. The Bank of America 500, ABC 7 Eastern Time. Qualifying rained out last night. Everybody's lined up on points. So Jimmie Johnson's on the pole. Edwards, Biffle, Burton right behind him or next to him, as the case may be. It should be a lot of fun. 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night on ABC, the Bank of America 500. So kind of a halting start to this race so far. We've had 6 laps and 2 caution flags plus 1 red flag for rain. What do you think the record is for most cautions in one of these 300-mile Nationwide Series race here?
I have not a clue, and I hope I don't want to find out tonight. What is it?
14 cautions.
Okay.
Wow.
67 of 200 laps under the caution flag.
Oh, man. Wow.
Now, you see a start to the race like this, and you think, it's got to get better, right? But then we've been watching Wall Street for the last couple of weeks or so and keep waiting for that to turn the other way, too. We'll see how many laps they can get going under green here when we get back at it in a couple minutes. You like that?
Well, that turn 4 is what I don't like. I've been watching that turn 4. I'm going, ooh, boy, I don't know. Every time they come through, they're the first 8 laps.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to crash. They have a couple times.
They have. And I'll tell you what now, I'm going to give you boys the hot tip, like
Yeah.
stock market here.
Yeah.
The kid in that 18 car is on the move, and he is good.
Wait a minute, you say that every week.
Nice
And
of
you're
you.
right all the time, too.
Nice of you to play that long shot, by the way. Go with the winningest driver in the series. Doc, that Brady's always stepping out there on a limb, isn't he?
Yeah, he probably mentions that Earnhardt kid's going to be good, too.
Yeah.
He's got all those revelations. And you saw just a moment ago in the lights, you saw some sprinkles coming down, so some showers have moved back just a little bit here. They're going to keep the cars on the racetrack, see if we can just get this shower to pass over us. Listen in to Joey Logano's radio.
I'll figure out my freaking restart here in a minute. That's 2 crappy ones right off the bat. Get them over with early. Yeah. I got a hang of it.
Well, he's trying to figure this restart out. That is tough. Makes it difficult whenever you're at a racetrack for the first time and trying to figure out exactly the speed that they're getting up to and how quickly you can shift the gears. So learning experience for him. Get this out of the way this year.
You're talking about learning. Jeff Burton talked about the upper groove, second groove coming in. He said, but that 20 car's already found it. So, I mean, is it inexperience on Joey's part that he's already up there, or do you think he's just going to, his car feels good enough that he can just take it up there and try to go by?
I think he's just got a lot of confidence in his car and everything. Yeah, he doesn't know that you can't run up there. And what he's seen so far, there's no reason to tell him that he can. He's been awfully fast up there. And what I noticed on these restarts is that high line is what goes right there. You know, we saw the 2-car of Clint Boyer jump down to the inside of Joey Logano and ended up losing a couple of spots before he was able to get back in line.
The second caution flag of the day, by the way, was because the 31 car, Jeff Green, was slowing down and got tapped behind by Mike Bliss. Dave, what was the situation with Jeff?
Yeah, just the Goodyear guys handed me a note because they inspect everything on tires that come off these cars when stuff like this happens, and they found a cut in the right rear tire of Jeff Green's number 31, and that's why he was trying to get to pit road when he got run into.
So we understand why he was weaving back and forth and was struggling to hang on to the car. Cars are on the racetrack, and hopefully this little shower is moving out. We'll get back with some green flag racing. We'll take a break and come back with Nationwide Series action in a moment. These NASCAR fans want to see some nationwide action, and we do too, so we hope we're just a moment away from going back to green flag racing. They know when they come to Lowe's Motor Speedway, as they have seen tonight, we had 2 laps of green. We've already had some pushing and shoving and 2 caution flags and even a brief red flag for a shower. But back in the spring of this year, a lot of pushing and shoving. 12 caution flags for 44 laps. caution for the 11th time tonight.
I'm guessing that contact on the racetrack was not accidental.
Denny knocked the fender off his car. I'm not happy about that.
83 looking out for his teammate, not going to take it. They're mixing it up down in the pits there.
Somebody's going to punch somebody.
For some reason, he picked my back tires up in the middle of 1 and 2, pulled up beside me, so I retaliated.
He doesn't like when guys race him hard. Well, that's the sport. I raced him hard, and he didn't think that was cool, so he decided to take my left front fender off.
You throw a rock, I'm going to throw a concrete block back.
Hurt Brand's chances of having a good run, but it just tore the fender up. I mean, there was no excuse in it.
Don't impress me by having your whole crew over here. Bring the driver over here and let us talk about it.
That's how it ended back in May. Brad Keselowski came home with a pretty impressive third-place finish despite that rubbing and shoving. He is third in the point standings here with 5 races to go. And trying to be able to catch Carl Edwards. He's got his work cut out for him right now. He is over 300 points back of Clint Boyer.
I don't think Brad was thinking about that he could get to Clint Boyer, but at second spot still is within reach. We got 1 to go signal here at the line. Ready to go back to some racing.
Jamie McMurray was our pole sitter, picking up his second pole of the year and only his 8th start. Won the pole at Gateway out in St. Louis. He has led all 14 laps thus far. Jeff Burton behind him in a 29 car, making his final start here in 2008 and is yet to go to victory lane. Let's check in on McMurray. Dave.
You know, Doc, you and I covered qualifying earlier for the Nationwide Series, and Jamie was so exuberant about his pole. And maybe that's because his car was so darn tight in practice. Tight. It was this whole weekend. And finally, they got it loosened up for the pole qualifying run, and running very well so far out in front of everybody.
And but that, at this racetrack, historically, this track gets tighter as the night goes on.
Well, you know what I found interesting when we talked to Jamie McMurray before the race, or heard him speaking, he was saying that PK was telling him this racetrack was going to get freer because it was going to get more grip. The front was going to stick better, so they were anticipating that tightness coming out by that.
That has been the trend this year with the new Goodyear tires, is the cars seem to get looser, not tighter, and we've always seen that in the past. There we go, Green.
Jeff Burton said he's loose and didn't want to tighten up now because he thought the track was going to get tighter. So we'll see who is right here. Back to green flag racing. Watch that 20 car. Here goes Burton on the high side.
Yeah, Joey Logano got him. Looked like he learned from those first 2 starts. Jeff Burton on the outside of Jamie McMurray. This is what we've seen on these restarts, that the high line is the way to go.
Burton was ready to go to work when that green flag came out.
Now he's going to get some help up there from Logano in the draft, and behind him, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, he knows there's grip up there because they had a Sprint Cup Series practice before this race, and those cars were all over the racetrack. They were running from top to bottom.
Remember Rusty's words where you got to strike fast here at this racetrack, and Rusty has had a lot of success here over the years at Charlotte.
Wow, what a great battle. These guys right up front. Joey Logano right there on Jeff Burton's bumper, giving him a little push. They got him out front.
This 20 car looks strong.
I think he's got the idea of taking the lead right here.
Oh, yeah.
On the outside of Jeff Burton.
He's just looking for an opening right here. I believe he's found it.
Remember, Logano has not raced here, so this will be the first time that he's actually been in competition. He's been here to test. And in less than 20 laps, he will take the lead.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Came from 4th to 1st since the restart.
Carl Edwards making a move inside of Kevin Harvick, and boy, Logano, Shannon's on the move.
Well, they certainly are, and this doesn't surprise me. I actually spoke with the team under that caution flag during the rain delay. They told me this is the first car that they have built for Joey Logano. Basically, they took the car from Kentucky. Of course, that was a great car for Joey Logano, and they made this one with the same specifications. So the team has a lot of confidence in this car, and of course, they have a lot of confidence in their driver as well.
As well they should. Pretty good battle there. Remember Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards, they've already had one shoving match here this weekend. Let's see what happens on the racetrack. Lap 20, because time by. Let's see if Edwards can get it. I don't believe Kevin's going to make it too easy.
Well, these guys are pros. They're going to handle this on track a little different than they might handle something off the track.
Yeah, Harvick had already made the pass since the restart on Carl Edwards. You see that bottom groove, it's just hard to make that pass. You get down, you can get to the inside and the shorter way around, but you can't make that, you can't complete that because the guy on the high side's got more momentum and is able to get back to the throttle a little bit quicker.
Brian Clausen, by the way, in the 40 car back on the racetrack. Derek Cope has gone to the garage, as has Johnny Chapman and Terry Cook. Those 3 cars in the garage here. There's the 5 car of Jimmie Johnson trying to move to the high side of Boyer. That would be for 6th place.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's figured out, too, that this high groove is what's working. He's getting up there trying it out, and he's passing the 2 car Clint Boyer.
Yeah, and right behind him is that guy Brad was talking about. Might be pretty good. Kyle Busch on the high side and moving towards the front. He's already up into the 8th spot, trying to take the 7th spot from Clint Boyer.
See, how about Carl and Harvick? They're still side by side here.
Little Carl and Kevin show here, and they better look in the mirror because here comes Jimmie and Kyle and Clint.
These 2 guys been in close proximity about the whole weekend, hadn't they, since they got here yesterday? Great shot right there. You can see, though, that Kevin Harvick, we watched from his own board, just gets that little bit of a run down the straightaway. Carl comes back in the corners, taking the shorter way around. See, Kyle Busch has got around Jimmie Johnson in the 5 car.
It looks like you can run that bottom groove and get about a car length through the middle of the corner, but to maintain that car length, you have to use the whole racetrack coming off the corner. And if you got a car outside, you can't do that.
Check in on Kevin Harvick. Mike.
And you know what Carl Edwards is doing, keeping Kevin Harvick to his outside hip. That may be the best move. Harvick's crew chief told me they've been set up to run the low line through turns 1 and 2, but the high line through 3 and 4. And right now, Edwards able to keep Harvick pinned on the outside. That may be helping him, guys.
And Mikey's able to make the pass, and by keeping the door open, he's going to let Kyle Busch try to go by as well on the inside. Back up front, Logano, Burton.
Jeff Burton didn't let Joey Logano get very far at all. He did take the lead away from Jeff Burton, but Jeff's just shadowed him the whole way here. Looks like Joey's gone back down to the bottom of the racetrack now.
35 car, Danny O'Quinn Jr. also has gone to the garage. I mentioned this a little bit ago. The 90 and 91 have gone there. Chapman, Cook, and as is the 4 car of Derek Cope. Yeah, the kid here, we're talking about the 12 car, Justin Allgaier, making his very first start in that 12 car for Roger Penske in the Nationwide Series. Doing a pretty good job. They're battling for 21st position.
See that highlight, still gets that run down the straightaway. Dives back in the inside. Carl washes up a little bit there as Brad Keselowski comes back to the inside.
The reason Brad Keselowski is back in 22nd spot is his car got real loose in qualifying, and that might play into his hands if the track tightens up like we talked about. I'm not sure it's going to, but he had a loose car in qualifying.
Here we see Marcus Ambrose making a pass. Clint Boyer continues to slide backwards. That's going to put him back to the 10th spot now.
Yeah, Marcus had qualified 7th and dropped back to about 11th or 12th position, and now picking him off and going back the other way. So he goes back around the 2 car to take the 9th spot away.
We've got a lot happening right here.
Yeah, 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Chase Miller in the 19. Gillette Evernham car. There is David Stremme, who had a difficult qualifying session at a start toward the back of the pack.
Yeah, but he's made up 12 spots, and he's already up in front of these guys. You see that 88 car still real loose.
Yeah, man, he keeps working that inside and trying to get by the 12 car, but he just can't make that move work because he's so loose getting down into the corner.
More on David Stremme. Shannon.
Doc, David Stremme was happy with this car this weekend. He felt they were very strong in final practice. So I asked him what happened in qualifying. He said the same thing happened to me that happened to a lot of drivers. The sun. He said the qualifying was much cooler towards the end of that qualifying session, and he just got burned by those hot temperatures.
Stremme qualified 32nd, but was second quickest in happy hour. Here, Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch continues his march towards the front. Takes that spot away for the 4th spot from Carl Edwards.
You're looking up on that scoreboard and he sees that 20 car on top. He says, I got one of these Joe Gibbs cars too. Let me see if I can get up here and race him.
Yeah, I think that's a little more incentive for him.
So the 18 car is on the move, Kyle Busch, after starting back in 16th position, but his teammate, 18-year-old Joey Logano, is the leader in his very first start here in Charlotte.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. After a couple of quick cautions and a delay for rain, we are live at lap 36 of 200, working that with Joey Logano in the 20 car, leading Jeff Burton in the 29. Jamie McMurray, who led the opening 15 laps of the race, has fallen back to third. At the moment, 32 of the 43 starters are on the lead lap. And why don't we go up to speed with Nationwide Insurance and let you know how some of these front runners are faring. Shannon, how about the leader?
Alan, Joey Logano took the lead on lap 18. He hasn't looked back. Right now, he says that the car is just tight all over. Tight in the center. I told you before, this is a brand new car for Joey Logano. He said this team really needs to get back on track, and they're doing just that right now. Jamie?
And behind him, he has a veteran driver hunting him down. He's also the defending winner from this race 1 year ago, Jeff Burton. We talked to him during that little rain delay, and he just said the car has more travel than it did earlier today. That means the track just has more grip, so expect some changes when they come in. We're here in around lap 60 to 63. Dave?
Jamie McMurray started first tonight. He's gotten passed by a couple of cars, holds that third position right now, reporting over the radio that the entry to the corners, good, and that might change as Kyle Busch pressures him here, but the exit of the corner is just a little bit hard to turn the car. Shannon?
Well, Kyle Busch started this race 16th, and it's no surprise that he has made his way through the field. What is a surprise is that this team actually had motor problems in Friday's practice. They spent all day Saturday trying to determine what was wrong. They did feel that they figured out, thought that there may be some problems in this in tonight's race, but of course right now Kyle Busch making his way through the field. Jamie?
Behind him, the 60 of Carl Edwards. He started third, currently fifth right now. They said they have a great car. Drew Blickensderfer, his crew chief, told me with 5 to go, if we have any shot at this championship, we're 196 points out. We have to be more aggressive, take more risks, and make ourselves different tonight. So watch Carl Edwards try to get aggressive as he tries to go to the outside of the lap car. Mike?
Crew Chief Rick Wren says that he feels the strength of KHI is their mile-and-a-half program, and it was expecting some big things this weekend. But the weekend did not start all that smoothly. They were only able to get 7 laps of practice in on Thursday. They just could not get into the corner the way they'd want. Trouble on the racetrack, Dave.
And Mike, things clear for right now as we continue going up to speed. Past Kevin Harvick, moving back just a little bit. You pick up the next car, which is going to be Jimmie Johnson in that Lowe's car. Jimmie, of course, the Sprint Cup leader right now. In this race, the car started out pretty secure, which for a driver usually means balanced to the tight side, but it's gone loose, looser and looser as the run goes along for Jimmie Johnson. Behind him, the 47 car of Kelly Byers. He told me during the rain delay that that car is pretty loose at the start of this race. And on that car for sponsorship this week, Samaritan's Feet, an organization putting shoes on children around the world who don't have them. And as a show of solidarity, Crew Chief Scott Zipadelli going shoeless tonight on top of the pit box. Mike?
Marcus Ambrose still looking for a big run here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, but the car not all that great right now. A little bit tight getting in, loose on the gas. They're expecting some changes on that car next time they come down pit road. Jamie?
And our points leader, Clint Boyer, behind him, sitting 10th right now. He slipped from 5th all the way back to 10th because he said he's loose all the way around the track. His spotter, Mike Dillon, talking him through it, just telling him, come on, ease off, don't overdrive the corner, be patient. They're planning on pitting around lap 60. Dave?
Early in this run, Dave Blaney reporting his car all good. I asked crew chief Mike Hillen Jr. then why did he lose positions? Well, he got in some traffic that he lost positions in, shall we say. Just got pinched down by another car and lost those spots early on. Behind him, the 6 car of David Reagan. The car feels good on the first run. He was trying to, when he got passed by the 18 car, he said over the radio, I chose the wrong line, but I had the hammer all the way down and could not keep up with him. Right now, just a little free on the 6 car. Shannon?
Mike Bliss thought that there may have been some damage on that one car. The team confirmed that there was no damage from one of the earlier cautions. I spoke with Bliss today. He told me that he thinks he's going to have a hard time finding balance with this car. He says he feels like it'll start off loose and then tighten up. I said, so how do you adjust for this race knowing that? He said, I would rather give up stuff on the short run and have it for the long run. Jamie?
And sitting 13th right now, David Rudiman in the 99. He started 15th. He just radioed in a few laps ago and said, I am too free. If we're not careful, I'm going to wreck this thing. Desperately needing some changes. You see him running the high line there in the 99. Shannon?
Yeah, just over Jason Leffler's radio, he feels a vibration. They may be feeling a loose wheel. They're thinking about bringing that 38 car down pit road to check it out. 4 tires and fuel for Jason Leffler right now as you see him going around the track, just trying to feel it out, but potentially could be bringing that 38 car down pit road. Jamie?
Well, they call this Jimmie Johnson's house, but what about Casey Kane? Unbelievable. here. He's had a lot of success in the Nationwide. He won here 1 year ago in May of 2007. This is his last Nationwide stop, so he's going to make the most of it. And remember, he won the All-Star race and the Cup race here in May. He loves this racetrack. Dave?
Running back in 17th is Stephen Wallace, picked up a couple of positions since the start of this race. It's a month, he said today, that I'd like to forget just based on the bad luck he's had. Right now, the car is just a little hard to turn from the center off. There's Uncle Mike right next to him. Mike?
Yeah. Mike Wallace, you know, Dave was asked recently to grade his season. He said it's a B+, and you really can't blame him for giving himself such a good grade. After all, he's got 6 top 10 finishes this year. That's the most top 10 finishes he's had in any season in the last 13 years. Still, there's room for improvement. He doesn't give himself an A until he gets back to victory lane, something he hasn't done in this series since 2004, but he feels like he's got a car capable of doing it. This is a car that has run very well for this team this year, and they're expecting it will be, at the very least, inside the top 10 here tonight. Shannon?
Mike, David Stremme saying that car is loose in and loose in the center. David Stremme said since the beginning of the season, this team has really... Guys, we've got an exchange for the lead. As you see the 29 car right there going to the high line, trying to get around the 20 car of Joey Logano, and he takes the lead from Joey Logano. Now we go back to David Stremme, who feels that this 64 team really has gelled in every aspect, team chemistry on the track. He says, I feel like we're closer to victory lane now than we have been all season long. Mike.
Brian Vickers trying to make a statement. He had to start in the back of the field in a backup car after a mishap in qualifying. Radioing in right now, though, that the car is a little bit too tight. They're going to need to free that up next time down pit road. Also, not too long ago, he said he felt like there might be a vibration, so there may be a bigger problem developing on the 32, Doc.
Brian Vickers, our biggest mover thus far in the race in the first 48 laps. Brian has picked up 22 positions, so doing a heck of a job in the backup car. You saw a moment ago Jeff Burton, the third lead change of the night. And now we look like we may be having our third caution flag of the night, as it indeed does wave here. Kevin Moss waving the yellow. Some debris in turn 4. And also the 38 car has popped.
Not that bad. I mean, unless there's suspension damage, the fender's pushed in, of course, but not too bad.
And we heard that they might have had a tire going down, and were concerned about a tire going down.
They had a vibration. They didn't know what it was. But now he's been in the wall. Looks like he might have a little bit of suspension damage.
I think we might know where the vibration was.
If we can see what happened to Jason.
Coming off the corner here, the car just didn't turn right there, so probably that right front tire was going down. Whether that was from the tire possibly not being tight.
The 19 car will get the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass. That is Chase Miller. He's the first car a lap down and be able to get back on the lead lap. Now this caution flag at lap 49, we should see once the pits are open, we should see wholesale pit stops. Everyone should be coming in for 4 tires, and now the pits are open as the pace car will bring them around. And Jeff Burton, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, Jamie McMurray, and Carl Edwards, the top 5 as they head down for our Castrol triple pits. Let's go down to Shannon.
Yeah, Joey Logano saying that car's a little bit tight for him. He's going to get 4 sticker tires. They're going to make a wedge adjustment too at that 20 car as Joey Logano is bringing his car down pit road right now, guys, for his first pit stop here at Lowe's Motor Speedway on this 1.5-mile track. Jamie.
Oh, and below him in the 29, you see Jeff Burton, one of 6 chasers in the field tonight. He said the car is pretty good. It's a little bit tight, so they're going to make a left front air pressure adjustment, 4 tires and fuel for Jeff Burton. Dave?
Bottom of your screen, early race leader Jamie McMurray. Full of Sunoco fuel. If they put 2 cans in it, 4 tire change. They will take spring rubbers out of the left rear. That'll help the car on that tight exit he was talking about. 1, 2 come out, and 4 tires go on. That'll cost him a little time as he leaves pit road.
The Joe Gibbs cars came out right together. Logano and Kyle Busch, they came out nose to tail. Jeff Burton lost a couple of spots, tried to get in, but those guys had the outside line. He had to fold in behind them.
How about Stremme? 8 spots up in the top 10.
David Stremme had the good car, second quickest in half the hour. Bad qualifying effort, has now found his way into the top 10. Looking live at Mitch Lash reporting he's the jack man for the 99 car there for David Rudeman, and he came back on the pit road.
Looks like they almost got all the lug nuts tight. Had to come back in and make sure on the left side.
Let's go back to the original pit stop and listen and watch as Mitch carries the Jack around for a 4-tire stop.
All right, here we go. First stop of the night. Get to the right side. Jack right side. Pull the right rear. Pass it. Drop the jack. Jack the left.
That is how it is done for the 99 car. David Rudiman, good job down there, Mitch, as we are working lap 52 of the Dollar General 300 under caution for the 3rd time tonight. Getting set for the restart. The 28 car, we're being told, rolled a tire, Kenny Wallace, and that cost him a little time and a penalty on pit road in the pit stop. As Joey Logano and Kyle Busch, the Joe Gibbs cars, got off 1-2 of pit road. By the way, David Strimmy took only 2 tires, thus the 8 positions he gained during that pit stop.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out exactly here. They had a lot of laps on the left side tires, but we'll keep an eye on David, see his progress.
It's a good time to do that. Still early, and it gets a little track position. If it doesn't work, he does have a lot of spots to give there. So up in the top 10, good time to try it. Kelly Byers also lost quite a few spots on pit road. Dropped the lug nut. Here's a pass for the lead.
Kyle Busch on the inside of his teammate makes it look easy here in the tri-oval.
He didn't waste any time there. See Jeff Burton trying to take the 2nd spot from Joey Logano. Seen that be difficult to do. Saw Kyle Busch kind of make his attempt of making that pass on the inside of different. You see Jeff Burton get really loose right there off of turn 2. Kyle Busch made his run from the center of the corner out and was able to clear Joey Logano. That way he didn't have to drive down to the next corner on the inside of him. Now Jeff Burton falls back to the 4th spot behind Carl Edwards.
Kyle Busch becomes our 4th different leader tonight. And now Carl Edwards goes around the high side of Logano. 2nd spot.
That caution flag stopped for a lot of these guys with a chance to adjust on the car, turn some jack screws, and change some air pressures. I didn't hear a lot of cars or a lot of guys, a lot of drivers that were happy with their cars. So that was a chance for everybody to make adjustments.
But some good news for that was good news for the 33, Mike.
Yeah, that caution came out just at the right time for Kevin Harvick. You can take a look at his right front tire right here. It almost looks like a cut, but the team described it to me more as a blister. They were about 5 laps shy of their scheduled pit stop, so this tells you a little bit about the tire wear they're getting here over the course of the run.
Yeah, that looks like they were very lucky to get that caution flag when they did, because that was getting ready to be a problem.
Here's Harvick on the inside of Jimmie Johnson. That's for 6th position. David Reagan behind them in 8th. 3rd place, the 29 of Burton, trying to go back on the inside of the 20 to take that spot away from Logano. More on Jeff Burton, Jamie.
Well, the 20 car's pulling away from the 29 of Jeff Burton. He came on the radio and said, "Did you guys go down on air pressure? We can't be doing that. It's not good. These guys are killing me on these restarts." I looked at the team and said, "He's complaining about that, isn't he?" He goes, "Yeah, he's been complaining about those pits guys all year."
Yes, you go down on air pressure. It takes you a little while to be able to get it back where you can.
Well, you're doing that for the long run. You're expecting that to come in there and help you after you get some laps on the tires, and it still might.
We see David Strimmy here, who had restarted in 10th, getting those 2 tires. He's fallen back to 12th. He's in the middle of a whole group here of cars that trying to advance forward, and looks like his 2-tire stop's not working out exactly for them.
Well, not yet. It's hard to say yet, because he did gain 8 spots by doing that. He's only lost 3 now, maybe 4. So if he can stabilize without losing too many more spots. Here's somebody's
coming in, guys. Got a flat right side.
Somebody's got a flat.
10-4, bring it to us.
That was the 1 car, Mike Bliss. He's not looking for pit road right here.
They're still right on the bumper of David Strimmy. He's been on the inside trying to make a pass.
That'll make the pit crew have a heart attack when you say that, and then you don't come to hell. It's actually Jamie McMurray
when I
has a
get in there,
problem.
just make sure, but pretty sure it's the right rear. I think it's just soft.
PK and company going to service the car that they were able to get on the pole tonight and lead the early laps. And now here is McMurray in for an unscheduled stop. Dave?
And they're pretty sure it is the right rear, as you heard, so they're going to change right side tires only. Big disappointment early on here, but a very fast race car. If you can get that free pass later on, get back on the lead lap, you might see McMurray before this is over.
09 also on pit road, John West Townley. On the Roush Fenway Craftsman Truck Series drivers getting tires.
He's going for 4 tires. They've got some kind of problem there. They want to make sure they get it. So they'll change all 4.
You can see Jeff Burton here still trying to work on taking that 3rd spot away from Joey Logano. You can see Joey's car wiggle just a little bit down in the center of the corner. We saw that when the 17 car was pitting there that they had the other tires, their left side tires ready to go on there. They were up on the wall, but they found that that right side tire was the problem, so they were able just to change the 2. Jeff's trying to run the high line and make that work to get around Joey Logano.
Those are 2 evenly matched cars, and they have been from the start. They don't seem to be able to get away from each other.
No, the problem is they got 2 faster ones in front of them on this run after they've made adjustments with Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards up in front.
Yeah, they were swapping the lead back and forth before. Now they're running 3rd and 4th.
Let's go back down to the pits and check in on the Kenza pit stop. Dave, McMurray pit stop.
And he thought, Doc, it may not be the tire. He said, guys, it wasn't the tire, was it? They radioed back, no, it was up. And Jamie said there's something goofy with the race car. It's all over the place. So we'll keep an eye out for Jamie McMurray. But all the tires, the right side tires, were full of air.
Hard to say exactly what. I mean, that can be a lot of things. Something goofy with the car. I mean, the car sat on the pole, so. But, things do happen. I mean, you have things like, you could have a spring that collapsed, something like that, or a shock.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but boy, that's just a tough deal when you make that pit stop thinking you have a flat and you don't. It's a tough deal. They have to figure it out.
Yeah, Jamie probably went back on the track and figured that out. He was still doing the same thing, so he knew then it wasn't the tires. We see our leader, Kyle Busch, here.
The 09 car, by the way, too fast entering pit road a moment ago and was black flagged for a pass-through penalty. We mentioned there are 14 drivers running in this race tonight who will also run in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race tomorrow night, including 6 chase contenders and points leader Jimmie Johnson. There's where they're running. Kyle Busch, the leader here. Back in a moment. Lots of motorsports coming your way throughout the weekend. NASCAR now tomorrow morning, kicking off our coverage, previewing what will happen for the day. NHRA Virginia Nationals qualifying at 7 Eastern Time on ESPN2. The chase continues. The Bank of America 500 at Charlotte tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on ABC Sports. NASCAR Now, ESPN2 tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern Time. And NHRA Virginia Nationals final Sunday at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Riding with a 25 car, Bobby Hamilton Jr., last car on the lead lap, and Bobby is a 5-time winner in his career in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. They're trying to be able to finish off the year well and attract sponsorship for 2009 for this Ed Renzi team. Our leader is Kyle Busch, picking up where he left off back in the spring. Kyle led 86 laps here back in May. Very good runs from some cars that have moved up from the back of the pack, including the 1 car of Mike Bliss, the 9 car of Casey Kane, and the 59. These are 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 all together.
This is the best battle on the racetrack right now. These guys are going at it. Casey Kane running right up next to the wall. We've seen him 3 wide a couple of times. Casey was looking for 3 wide right there, looking for some room.
He's getting up there and getting a run off the corner that's just unbelievable. He has made it 3 wide a couple of times during this battle.
And Kelly Byers had a bad pit stop. They dropped the lug nut on that last stop, but he's coming up through there too. Up beside his teammate.
Yeah. Talking about 3 wide. He makes that pass. See Clint Boyer right on the bottom. Casey Kane right against the wall. Kelly Byers kind of in the middle. Mike Bliss on the bottom. Marcus Ambrose just trying to figure out where he needs to go to make up a little bit of time. Clint Boyer's right in front of this group. Whoa, then the 81. This is a backup car because he crashed in practice, and he doesn't exactly have this one figured out.
88 car, Brad Keselowski. Remember the poor qualifying effort? We talked about him starting way toward the back of the pack in 30th position. He is third in the points. Mike.
Yeah, Doc, and remember how we were talking about how that car was real loose in qualifying? Well, it remains very loose here in race trim. He radioed in not too long ago saying we are a 7 or an 8 loose. That's pretty severe for that team. They made a track bar adjustment last time down pit road. Keselowski said that did not work. Let's go in a completely different direction next time down. He did tell his team, though, we should be all right if I don't back it in the wall. That's pretty ominous, I'd say.
77 of 200 laps are in the books. Kyle Busch is our leader. And we have had 5 lead changes among 4 different drivers. Here's the 18 of Kyle. Carl Edwards in second spot. You see Kyle going by the 28 car of Kenny Wallace. Edwards is right there as Edwards. Logano back in third. And Jeff Burton in the 29 car in fourth spot. Jamie.
Well, I noted that they made an air pressure adjustment on the left side, but Jeff Burton needs some more help.
I don't care if we fall off 10 seconds. We gotta try to put some air in the right side tires and find something. I don't care if we get 20 seconds slow on lap 10. We gotta find some speed. I'm just loose and it won't turn.
So basically, they lowered air pressure in the left front. He wants air pressure added in the right front. Crew chief Pat Smith saying, hey, I think the track's falling off for everyone. Lap times are slower. Trying to make his driver feel a little bit better.
You guys wouldn't deceive your driver, would you, Andy?
No, but you hear that from your driver, you know that he wants something different. So I'd put some air in the right side tires for him, I think. That'll help the car get going on the restarts. I think that's what he's talking about. He's tired of losing these spots on the restart and having to gain them back later. His car's pretty fast right now, but he's lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, and they're not wrong in saying that a lot of cars have slowed down except for Kyle Busch, and that's who Jeff is interested in passing before this night's over.
Here's a battle for 16th and 17th. Rudeman and Vickers.
On the back straight.
And a couple of cars sliding sideways. Chase Miller is involved. Jason Keller involved. The 25, Bobby Hamilton Jr. is there. 4th caution flag tonight.
Side left rear pretty heavy there.
See, the 25 has probably got the most damage of this. 19, I think, is going to have quite a bit as we'll get a picture of him. Looks like he's knocked the fuel pump off of that car.
Yeah, he's got either oil line or fuel line off, so he's just going to have to shut that car off and wait for help.
Here's Chase Miller down in the second Gillette Evernham Dodge. Damage on all 4 corners of that one. And Jason Keller, the Baker Curb Ford. There comes Jason down, the all-time leader in earnings and starts in the series. If we can show what happened, they're trying to get firemen over and get Bobby Hamilton out of the car. Here's what happened coming off of turn 2.
Looks like maybe the 19 car gets loose coming up out of turn 2.
Gets into Stanton Barrett and then comes all the way across the racetrack.
Wow.
It was a close call for Justin Allgaier there.
See, this is looking okay until Jason Keller gets into the back of Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Yeah, Bobby got on the brakes, and you see now he clips Keller, who spins around and will hit the wall with the driver's side.
Leader Kyle Busch just basically has to come to a stop. He sees all this happening right in front of him.
Hamilton's on board. Look at Allgaier get by.
All right, you got the fan.
It's just really tough in Jason Keller's position there. Bobby Hamilton Jr. was able to be seeing that. He was slowing down, and Jason Keller was right behind him. Couldn't see that, so he got into the back of him. It's unfortunate for those two guys. Bobby getting out of his car. It's okay.
Team, it was so hoping to be able to have some good luck here down the stretch. And they have closed pit road as of right now, so they will all line up behind the pace car, the lucky dog, and it is indeed a break for Jamie McMurray, who had come on for that problem, the vibration, which they thought was a tire. It turned out not being a tire. He will get back on the lead lap. He was the first car a lap down. He gets the Aaron's lucky dog free pass.
That's the good news. Bad news is that he still doesn't know what's wrong with his car as it's acting up.
Just joined our coverage. We've had 5 lead changes among 4 different drivers. McMurray, you saw a moment ago, was the pole sitter and led the first 8 laps. Jeff Burton passed him to lead the next 2. Then Logano led 20. And then Kyle Busch has gone by and led 29 laps. Under caution for the 4th time tonight here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. NASCAR Sprint Cup action coming your way tomorrow night. Right now, the NASCAR Nationwide Series cars are coming down pit road because of a shower moving across, but it's the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. Stop number 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on ABC, 7 o'clock Eastern time, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Rains have moved back in. So a brief shower coming across in the backstretch. We were working caution for the 4th time, and this one a little more serious than the one before.
Definitely going to take some drying efforts here. As you see the crews putting the tarps down over their pit area to try to keep them as dry as possible.
Local weathermen had predicted that this shower would be out of here by 3 or 4 o'clock today. I think that's the same guy that's buying stocks for me.
I think you missed the AM PM part of that.
Yeah. Jimmie Johnson making a rare appearance in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Only his 4th start of the year. He finished 10th here back in May and said he likes running this racetrack. Obviously, he's had so much success here in the NASCAR Sprint Cup car.
Yeah, it's not parlaying into much tonight. He's back in 14th spot right now. He'd really fallen off. Looked like his car had gotten really tight in the center of the corner. See Carl Edwards out of his car.
Drivers walking away, guys, headed over toward you in this rain shower. Let's check in down on the pit road, guys, with Alan, Rusty, and Brad.
Hey, it's nice and dry inside the old studio here. Carl might want to come on up. We'll keep him out of the rain for a little while here. And so before they make pit stops under this caution, the field is stopped, and we're some 16 laps shy of the halfway point of this race. And that gives people something that can be a little dangerous sometimes.
Time to think.
Yeah.
It really does, guys. I mean, when you see a driver out there that's really struggling, I mean, he's trying to relate to his crew what's going on with the car. When a caution flag comes out and it does rain, it gives him time to sit and go talk to his crew chief and say, look, this is what I'm struggling with. This is how I can fix it. Or you could be like Kyle Busch, where he is so bad fast right now, he don't want to say a word. He's not going to say nothing. They're going to pat him on the back, tell him how good a job he's doing. But for some of these guys that aren't so fortunate, Brad and Alan, they're going to cherish this time to think about their car.
That's a great point, and like I say, Kyle Busch has just checked out on everyone, but there's several cars in the field who I believe are relying on air temperatures coming up, just like Jeff Burton. He was looking for those air pressures to come up as he got a long run in, and some of those cars weren't quite getting there yet, so it's going to be interesting. Now we stop, he has to go through that all again. He had his car, had a lot of travel, was bottoming out, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and so, Rusty, obviously, I've never driven one of these race cars in an event like this, but when Jeff talks about wanting air pressure to help from bottoming out, when that car is hitting bottom going into the corner, that means he's just got to slow down, right?
Yeah, if he tries driving a corner, the car, they're very, very deep. It's going to bottom out, shoot sparks off underneath it. It's going to really upset the way the car is handling. Now, remember, one thing about Jeff Burton, this guy is professional. He knows what he's talking about. And talking about time to think about that, this is a perfect time because we heard how upset he was with his tire pressures and things like that. They will sit down and discuss this. They'll look at the pressures, and they will fix it this time.
Joey Logano is running 3rd at the moment. Shannon?
Well, he's got a lot of history at this racetrack, but it's the first time on this 1.5 miles. You've led some laps. How are things going inside this 20 car tonight?
Well, we were pretty good that first run there, just a little bit snug, and came in, put our first set of stickers on, and she loosened up quite a bit on me. So we're working on the old Farm Bureau Toyota here, and we're going to work on it, snug it up a little bit more, and see if we can get back up there with Kyle.
Now, this is the second time that we've come in for a rain delay. After the first one, did the track change a lot for you guys, being a little wet and a little cooler?
I don't think it got wet enough or cooled down enough for it to make a big change. You know, I felt like after those first couple runs, I felt like I was faster than the cars in front of me, and that showed as soon as we started going. But you know, it was just over adjusted a little bit. I had too much. Those stickers loosened me up a lot. So.
All right, high expectations for Joey Logano here tonight, Mike.
And Shannon catching up with our championship leader, Clint Boyer. And Clint, I saw you had a little conversation with your crew chief, Dan Daringhoff. What'd you guys talk about?
Just way too loose, trying to figure out how to get it tightened up and which route to take in doing so. But we just need to get snugged up here and we'll be fine. We're just way too loose to get going early, and then it stays loose. So we'll be fine. Just got to get some work.
As loose as you are out there, what moves are you unable to make and basically on this racetrack?
Just kind of holding on right now. We just too loose in the middle, getting to the throttle. Just got to get it tightened up.
There you have it. Got to tighten up the championship leader, Jamie.
And Casey Kane getting some water. It's pretty hot inside these race cars. It's incredible. So Casey, you guys made some adjustments, took a spring rubber out. How was the car treating you there in the second stint?
It was better. It was it's good. It's just real quick on the front end, so the back sliding a little bit, and then a bit tight if I try to run the bottom. So it's kind of all over. We're trying to get it better. They're doing a good job. It's much better than what it was in practice. And having fun racing with these guys. It's been quite the battle, seems like.
We watch you up high. We know you love to run like 6 inches from the wall, and it scares your crew. What is it about running high, especially here at Lowe's?
I don't know. I'd rather run the white line. I think that's tougher to do for me anyways. I've always struggled to run the bottom, and so I'd rather run there, but it's just my car, this Ragu Hellman's Dodge Charger it seems to be better around the fence up by the wall, so that's why I've been up there tonight. And who knows, tomorrow night car was good in practice, and felt like we have a good shot to run well tomorrow night, more on the white line, I think.
And of course, he's going to be our in-race reporter tomorrow night, talking to us from the racetrack, and he wants to get back racing and have some fun. Dave?
Jamie, here was a car that was quick in practice, quick in qualifying, quick when the race started, and then things started to go south for Jamie McMurray. Jamie, what happened to the car after that restart?
Well, we made an adjustment, and we'd made the same adjustment in practice, only a lot bigger at the time, and it didn't really seem to affect the car. And pulled a spring rubber out of the left rear, and I was sure I had a flat. I tried to enter high once, and I got really loose, and that didn't really concern me. But when I got to the next corner, I got loose again, and I thought, well, I've got to have a tire going down. So we pitted, and when I pulled back out, I radioed. I was like, that tire wasn't flat because I'm still just as loose. So we're going to go back a little bit on that. PK, they're getting a plan together. We're short a little bit on tires now because we had to put another set on. So the Nationwide Series is so much different than the Cup Series because you're limited on tires. So we're trying to be creative here, and hopefully, our car is plenty fast enough. We just got to try to get some of that track position back.
Well, they're not limited on spring rubbers. They took 2 halves out of the left rear. They want to put one of those halves back. Tim Brewer, our Chevrolet cutaway car, how in the world can a spring rubber cause so much trouble?
Because you give up spring rate, David. What we do right here, we occasionally get to the point where the car's tight enough, and you say, well, I think we're going to have to free the car up, so you'll take 50 pounds of spring rate out. But what you'll actually do is insert these spring rubbers in here, and that's going to give you your spring rate back. But it also gives you the advantage of when the car gets tight or loose, you can manipulate it by putting these spring rubbers in. Occasionally, we'll have them with a tire changer where he puts them in. Occasionally, you'll just have them right here on the side of the spring tied in where the guy's just got to insert the thing like that. But we can adjust the chassis pretty well with these spring rubbers. Doc?
Thanks, Tim. And by the way, for you Jamie McMurray fans, he did lose a lap in the pits when making an unscheduled stop, but because of getting the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass, he will be back on the lead lap now, giving us 22 cars on the lead lap. Let's talk about what happens now. You guys as a driver and crew chief sort of got to predict what's going to happen now. It's raining. It's rained. The track has washed a little bit of rubber off. It's cooling off. What's going to happen with this racetrack?
I hope you don't make me predict the weather because we can't do that. It seems like every time we think it's going to clear up, it comes another shower. But that's hard to adjust the race car because the racetrack is changing. But the one thing I do see is that a lot of people are loose, and we have always seen this racetrack tighten up at night. Tonight is not doing that at all. We're hearing everybody's loose just about, and the track is really not tightening up.
Yeah, and we've talked about that at a lot of places that we go, that these guys generally think their race cars are going to tighten up, which means the front end's not going to turn like they want to. And what they're complaining of now is the back end stepping out on the car, so they're having to chase that. Makes it difficult to drive and drive fast. So I think it's got something to do with the tire combination that they're running now that's making these cars not tighten up the way that they used to.
So the drivers sitting in the cars, the shower that moved across seems to be dissipating. So they have told the drivers to stay now in the cars with helmets on. Hopefully we're going to get them fired up and get back to racing here momentarily.
I am Kelly Byers. I always tell people I'm the meanest 120-pound kid they know. High school, my number one sport was wrestling. It's a sport that requires a lot of mental and a lot of physical activity. My accomplishments was 2-time state champion. I had numerous records at our school, like most wins in a season, whatever it took to win. A lot of people always ask me if I ever get nervous in a race car, and you go to state title and there'd be 30,000 people, and there's one mat sitting down there in the middle, and if you screw up, everyone sees it, so nothing compared to that. I am Kelly Byers.
And of course, Kelly Byers had wrestled in the 120-pound class, but now wrestling 3,400-pound race cars. Doing a pretty good job tonight. Top 10, how would you assess the way the night's gone?
Car's real good, actually. We were running well in the top 10 till that first stop, and we lost about 11 spots on pit road. So the guys are going to get it all back together here, and we managed to get back up to 10th place, so we've got a good car. Just got to take care of it here. Still got quite a long ways to go, and get the Samaritan's Feet Ford Fusion back up front.
Spoke with your crew chief, Scott Cipodelli, not too long ago. He said, quote, "We're just getting warmed up." He feels like this team has turned the corner. How about you?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's about a year now we've been working together, and we're hitting, you know, in stride. We're both developing a great relationship, friendship. We know what each other's thinking at all times, so we're building better cars. Everyone's working better. The team's getting growing up. You know, we had a real young team to start this deal here at the 47 team, and they've all grown up together, including myself. So we just want to get back racing here. I know we got a car that can get up there and run the top 5.
Well, Doc, we're going to let Kelly go. They're calling drivers back to their cars.
And Mike, the news for next year, this team, they're going to hope to get sponsorship for the full year for Kelly Byers, for JTG Doherty, and they also want to run Coleman Presley some. That is the grandson of Robert or Bob Presley, and Robert Presley of Robert Presley. To run Coleman, been running late model stock cars, doing a great job.
He's won a lot of races at the local level, and now they're going to move up and try this series and get him in there a few races. Good kid.
So they have called the drivers to their cars. You see Jeff Burton getting some tape out to work on the area of the window net there. They're going to get in the car and hopefully get these guys cranked back up. We're just 17 laps away from the halfway point. Jimmie Johnson climbing back in. Got to believe once they open pit road, a lot of these guys are going to be able to come on the pit road and make some needed adjustments. Kevin Harvick getting suited back up. Kyle Busch is the leader, back hopefully with the cars rolling in just a moment.
The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Charlotte is brought to you by the U.S. Navy and by Aaron's. With over 1,500 stores nationwide, everyone's a lucky dog at Aaron's. Before the cars are fired up and we get this race back underway, check a couple of the news headlines of the week in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Announced here that Bernie Lamar and Brian Vickers are going to split the number 32 car. Earlier announced that Dollar General would sponsor that car for Braun Racing next year. Unilever is going to move over from the 9 car that they've been sponsoring the last couple of years to Dale Jr.'s team. 10 races for the number 5 car, 3 drivers to split it. Jr., Landon Castle, and Mark Martin to share time in that car. And the new Nationwide Series version of the Car of Tomorrow will be tested here on Monday and Tuesday. Along that group, Kyle Busch to test cars for Joe Gibbs Racing. It'll be their first time on the track with that Nationwide Series version of the new car. Take advantage of having a couple guys that own a team or a piece of a team in the Nationwide Series here to talk about the development of that car for your teams. How much time, effort have you been spending on it? And will you have a car in the test here?
No, we won't have a car in the test here. And I got a whole different approach when it comes to that, Alan. It's kind of like tire testing.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is let somebody else test that baby.
Okay.
Let them spend their own money. Let them crash the cars. Let them tear everything up. And when they get it the way they want it, give me a call and I'll build one. But for me being a guinea pig, no way, man. I've been through that before. Me and Penske and the guys over there, we went and said, hey, we're going to go do some Goodyear tire testing. They make those babies a little too soft. We might tear one up. I knocked the wall down. I got tired of sitting in the hospital because I was the guinea pig. Let those cats figure out that car tomorrow, okay?
I agree with Rusty 100%. I mean, we're not going to run a car either.
That.
You know, we're going to let them figure it out.
I forgive you calling me 60 years old.
Whoa, close to that. But anyway, we're going to let those guys figure out, and just like Rusty said, let them do the work. They're going to do the due diligence, and when we get closer to 2010, we'll look at, you know, getting our cars ready, getting prepared to run those cars in the Nationwide Series. But the feedback's been phenomenal. Everyone's really happy with the car of tomorrow, the new race car for the Nationwide Series, so we'll see how it goes.
No bump stops. I like that.
No bump stops.
No bump stops. They raised that splitter up. The guys went to Richmond. They drove it. They said they loved it.
Give those
So,
guys
hey,
something to ride on.
I'm just trying not to laugh because there's two words you could say to get Rusty Wallace
Bump
going.
stop.
Bump stop. And he'll go crazy.
Hey, and Oprah said 60's the new 40, so don't worry.
Thank you very much.
Just a nice attempt at recovery on your part. Next time you see a shot from the pit studio, I may be sitting in the middle. I'm not sure. So for the second time tonight, these drivers are going to buckle back in. They'll fire the cars up and head them out onto the racetrack. And after NASCAR gets the field all regrouped and gathered up, they will open pit road. And I'm sure we're going to see everybody come down pit road. The question is now, if you're one of these crew chiefs and you've seen this race get stopped by rain twice tonight, when there's really not all that much on the radar either time, you got to be debating to yourself, how much longer is this race going to go? Because we get past halfway and it rains again. That could be it.
You're exactly right, Alan. I'd be looking at the radar really hard right now. But, you know, we have had some rain on the racetrack.
Precipitation, thank you.
I know it's a big word. I can't say it. Some rain on the racetrack that hasn't showed up on the radar. So they really don't know what's going on right there.
There's a man hard in concentration. Drew
There's going to be a
there.
lot of spring rubbers, a lot of adjustments. I believe these guys are going to use this, though, Brad, to get these cars back handling
What about tire pressures, though? How long do we get to run before the tire pressures come up and help someone like Jeff Burton, who's bottoming out his race car because his tire pressure's low?
As you could probably hear, they have fired the engines. They'll be rolling the field off shortly, Doc. And let's see, red flag number 2. Hopefully that's the last one on the night, huh?
We hope we are done with red flags here tonight, guys. Hope we can get back to racing here, get to halfway. As you mentioned, these guys are going to come on the pit road, and you guys have been in these cars, and you've been on that pit box. What do you do now? Do you think about maybe just doing some things you wouldn't do until late in the race, knowing that if you get one more rain, we may be done?
Well, you can't predict the weather. What you need to do here is just get on the pit road and try to make some positions. Try to make a good pit stop, make a good adjustment, and get back to work. Try to get focused back on the race.
Yeah, you just got to get your car as good as you possibly can and go out there and run as hard as you possibly can, because you don't know when that may come, but you're going to treat it like every pit stop. You're going from pit stop to pit stop right now.
The NASCAR rule is that it is halfway, and then if the weather comes and doesn't go away, it can be a complete race. Not halfway plus 1. It is halfway, so here would be 100 laps, and we are 17 laps away. Now, we hope that the weather stays away, and we can get the full 200 laps in the night and get a complete 300 miles here for the NASCAR Nationwide Series cars. Now, the guys are getting ready on pit road to bring these guys down. Got to believe we're talking about 4 tires and some major adjustments.
Well, the thing is here, these guys, these pit crew guys, have been sitting around getting stiff. They need to get stretched out here, get ready, get some blood flowing, get ready to make a quick pit stop, no mistakes, 4 tires and a few adjustments, and go back to racing.
Yeah, that's what you really want, is to make up as many positions right here as you possibly can. That make your driver happy and get back out there. Got fewer cars to pass when you get to the race, back on the racetrack and get the green flag.
Track going to be tighter? Did some of them thinking was there enough rain to wash some of the rubber off?
I know there's a lot of guys hope it's tighter because there was a lot of loose race cars, but I think the racetrack will probably stay about the way it was. We didn't get a lot of rain. The guys that were loose need to tighten their cars up, I think, right here, because I don't think the track's going to change.
Yeah, just some grip, I think. They're going to get some added grip, even more than probably what they were experiencing earlier. So that's going to be a good thing for those guys. But as you said, they're going to those loose race cars, they're going to have to tighten those up because they're going to go faster here once again.
Maybe get a chain and tie yourself to the bumper of Kyle Busch, because he has been tough to catch here in this first 83 laps.
He has been tough, but there's a couple guys back there, Carl Edwards and a few of these other guys that are looking at maybe trying to make a move on him.
Lined up on pit road, if you just joined our coverage, we have had 4 different leaders, 5 lead changes. We've had 4 caution flags, had 2 caution flags in the first 7 laps. And now the second red flag. You see the NASCAR officials that are there with their hands up. That hand up signifies that the car they are standing by has fired and is okay to roll off. The 22 car, we're being told, will need an assist off of pit road. Andrew Ranger. So they have called a wrecker to come down and give him as the other cars will move away. And that's the cars that pointed now to go around him. And the caution is out, which means that the pace truck will move away.
We talked to Clint Boyer a couple of times there, and he's somebody's going to have to adjust on his car here because right now as it sits with Carl Edwards up there in the 2nd spot and Clint's back in the 11th right now, he's cut some points off of that points lead. It would be down to 156, and I know we have racing to go, but he's going to have to work on that car a little bit to get back into that top 10, hopefully top 5.
Again, there are 4 races to go after today. This is the 31st of 35. They go to Memphis at the end of October. They have next week off when the Cup cars are in Martinsville. Then they go to Memphis, Texas on November the 1st, Phoenix, and then Homestead, which is the championship weekend on November 15th. 2 of the final 4 are on 1.5-mile racetracks.
See, the 22 car is getting a push from the wrecker. They make sure that all the cars start up. They don't penalize anybody for not being able to get their car started after these red flags. They'll get them pushed off and let them go back to their position with no penalty.
See the 12 car coming by there too, Justin Allgaier. How impressive was he sitting listening to him? I mean, watching him here today, he's handled everything, all the adversity, trying to make the race in difficult conditions, come out here and done a great job on the racetrack, and then he sat in there and talked to those guys and sounded like he'd been doing this forever.
How about last week? He's in a borrowed car with a borrowed engine and a family-owned team running ARCA in a great series there in Talladega. Tonight he's driving for the legendary Roger Penske on national television and doing a great job.
He did a great job avoiding that last accident too. He saw it, he sensed it coming. That's good racing instincts when you see that out of a driver.
Yeah, between that and grabbing that steering wheel a little bit tighter right there, because he was expecting maybe to get hit. Pit road still closed right now as they let the field get caught up. They wanted to get the 22 to get in position here.
So click off lap 85 this time by.
Next lap pit road, it'll be game on.
There's a 22 getting back. You see him getting back to his position that he was in when the caution came out.
There will be 22 cars on the lead lap. Jamie McMurray was the lap down, and he was the recipient of the free pass. Kyle Busch has led the last 32 laps. When he took the lead, he just set sail, moved away. Back in the spring, sort of the same way. Here's Kevin Harvick back in 5th position. Hard to believe he hasn't won at this racetrack in nationwide competition or in Sprint Cup. He's won the All-Star race here, won it back last year, back in May.
It's hard to believe he hasn't won a race in this series this year, too, because he's been so dominant in this series, and he's still yet to win a race.
Yeah, 15 wins the last 2 years. He won 9 2 years ago when he won a championship and won a series leading 6 victories a year ago.
Well, they're going to need to make a good pit stop right now to keep himself up there and within striking distance in case they make a bad adjustment or something on that 18 car.
Here they will come down pit road 45 miles an hour. Let's go down to Mike Massaro.
And Kevin Harvick began the night tight through the center, but after the last round of pit stops, they freed him up a little bit. The car right now neutral. They're just calling for a 4-tire change, no adjustments, and a can of Sunoco racing fuel. Shannon?
Mike, on the last run, Kyle Busch was saying that the car was getting a little tight. 4 stickers and Sunoco fuel, no changes for the 18. Jamie?
Car getting a little tight for Carl Edwards in the 60 to going up 1 round on the track bar. Carl reminded him, guys, track position is everything here. Be quick on this stop, Dave.
David Reagan gives up 6th position. He's just losing a hair of front grip. Slight air pressure adjustment on those left side tires.
Wow, 3 wide off of pit road, and they finally pare down to 2 wide. Mike Bliss up 7 spots. Leffler up 15. Gotta believe 2 tire stops there for Blaney as well. Vickers. Comes the Stephen Wallace and David Stremme car off.
Look how crazy this race was off pit road. You see Mike Bliss, he goes by, nobody around him, but look at this right here. What a traffic jam at the end of pit road.
Cars everywhere.
A lot of strategies being pulled here on this one. See a lot of different guys moving up.
Some of the guys thinking about the rain maybe coming back.
Have to be thinking that, because if they watch David Stremme with 2 tires, they certainly wouldn't think that that's going to be the strategy that's going to be good for a long run here. Stremme had gotten 2 tires earlier, came out, picked up a lot of position, about 8 spots in the pits, came out 10th, but fell back to 18th then.
He had a few more laps on his left side tires than some of these cars will have, so it might work a little bit better, but track position right now is real valuable when you're talking about this close to possibly the end of the race.
These are the cars a lap down or more that are Kenny Wallace is down there coming in on the 28 car. Eric McClure is in. There's Kenny Wallace. Andrew Ranger getting right side tires.
He's 2 laps down. You see the right front tire changer struggle just a little bit to get the tire off.
There's the 17 of McMurray. And we'll show you. Watch the 2-tire change here for the Vickers crew as the 32 comes in.
Not going to be here long on these right side changes. It's about 5 to 7 seconds. See here, just trying to get the hose out of the way, tire out of the way, and then they can go. You have to get that equipment back to the left side half of the pit box before the car can leave.
Yeah, front tire changer's got to get it done, doesn't he, Andy, to get it out of the way?
Yeah, I've had a nudge from the bumper before. Not out of the way quick enough.
Yeah, both those Braun cars, 2 tires, the 10 car of Blaney and the 32 of Vickers. The 52 too fast on pit road. Tony Raines. And let's update the 60 from Jamie.
Well, Doc, how crucial 1 second can be. Carl just said 1 second cost us 6 positions on pit road, guys. But the good news, he said, hey, the track looks great. We're ready to go racing.
Got some work to do to get by these guys that took 2 tires or no tires. Jason Leffler, he just took fuel. He's in the 5th spot.
Yeah, I like his idea of all those tires on that thing right now, though. That's
hard to beat those new tires.
Whoa, yeah, I'm with Rusty. You
no
get
tire like a new
whenever
tire.
you can get that. Of course, you got Kyle Busch sitting there in second. He made a great pit stop, really. He got 4 tires and he's in second. I don't think it'll be very long before he takes the lead and strikes out. That car's just been so fast on the restarts.
The 1 car up front is the Mike Bliss car, and normally they have the normal sponsorship on the side from Miccosukee, but on the hood they have the 500. They have a commemorative 500 start for car owner James Finch in NASCAR. And the team painted it on there as a surprise to James. He didn't know it was on there, and he got to the racetrack and saw it. So sort of a thank you, boss, for being a part of this sport for so long.
The best thank you they could give the boss tonight would be a victory. He's got a good start on it right now at the head of the field.
Yeah, that'd be great. James has been great for this sport. He's been in it obviously a long time and helped a lot of drivers and crew members throughout the years.
20 years in NASCAR. He had Sterling Marlin in the Cup car last week at Talladega and runs full-time here with the 1 car Mike Bliss in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. They are, by the way, the highest nationwide only driver in the points as they are 4th overall.
Yeah, getting ready to go green. This is going to be interesting to see. We've got a lot of different strategies playing out here with tires and no tires.
See what Bliss and Busch and the boys will do up front. Can Mike Bliss hold off Kyle Busch? How about Vickers with those 2 tires behind him?
I'm saying until about turn 2 he might hold Kyle Busch off.
Think Kyle will wait that long?
Well, just because it's going to take that long to get up to speed.
I got you.
A little longer. There he goes. Pulls out down the back stretch. 4 tires to the lead. Because he just had a fast race car all night. See Brian Vickers in the 32 wiggle a little bit right behind Mike Bliss.
Vickers and Blaney nose-to-tail teammates. There comes Joey Logano on the inside of the 5th place car, Leffler.
Got to hand it to Brian Vickers. He crashed his car in qualifying. This is a backup car with no laps at all. He's done a great job to drive this car up to the front. I know they used some strategy to get 3rd spot, but he's hanging right there. He's tough, and this is this is really bodes well for that team. Both team cars running right there nose to tail.
Yeah, seeing a lot of sparks of these guys on fresh tires here. The air pressure's down, full of fuel, running fast right now.
29.69 last lap.
Wow.
On Kyle Busch.
Here comes cousin Carl down on the bottom of the racetrack underneath Leffler, and right behind him Jimmie Johnson, David Reagan, and Jeff Burton. More on Leffler. Shannon.
Well, you've got to give a lot of credit to Jason Leffler right now. He had a right front tire that went down earlier in the race. He was all the way in the back of the field. I spoke to him under that caution flag, and he told me expect some pit road strategy. And, of course, that's immediately what we saw when these guys came down pit road. It was fuel only for that 38 car.
David Reagan slipped up a little bit, DJ, and the 29 getting by, but Reagan's had a good car. Now Harvick tries to get him.
Yeah, he's had a good car, and Well, right now we see Jimmie Johnson on the inside of Jason Leffler, and there's Harvick trying to pass David Reagan on the inside. That high side's been working pretty good, but right now with the fresh tires and since the track's cooled off even more, the bottom seems to be working pretty good.
We heard Jimmie Johnson talk about how loose his car was and how big of an adjustment he needed to get better. Looks like they've helped it quite a bit. And if you look at the lap times, these are the fastest lap times of the night, so the track's fast.
Comes the 9 of it's a 7 through 12. There comes the 9 of Casey Kane. Going in the back of this pack, looking back from Kevin Harvick.
Casey's still trying to make that top side work. I heard him say he'd like to run the bottom, but this car just seems to be, that's where it's fast, is up on the high side.
Casey's just so good at this racetrack. 3 wins in the Cup car in the last 5 starts. The All-Star race, he's won here in the Nationwide car. What is it about certain tracks and drivers that just seem to excel?
I think you just get a feel for what you need in the race car at certain racetracks, and and others just either don't fit your style or you haven't ever gotten your car to that point of knowing exactly what you need. And obviously Casey knows what he was looking for at the car here.
This will be Casey's final start of the year in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Mike Wallace, David Stremme, side by side for position. That is 20th and 21st.
Whoa, just
got loose.
Caught the corner of David Stremme. Mike Wallace just got loose and had to chase it up the hill.
David Stremme is not going to be very happy about that.
Damage here to 7, got him.
Didn't look intentional, but it was,
no, not by any means, no.
Just definitely contact there, and it was just so close to it. David Stremme almost missed that. Just wasn't quite far enough ahead of Mike Wallace before he got loose.
Before we had that round of pit stops, Mike Wallace was up in the 7th spot.
Yeah, go in the garage.
But he got shuffled back.
5th caution flag of the night. Stremme, who had such a good car. He was 4th quickest in the first practice session, 2nd fastest in the happy hour session.
See Mike Wallace get loose right there in the center, and he's just trying to catch his car, and he's hoping that Stremme would get by there, but just caught him in the left rear quarter panel. Sent David Stremme into the wall. He'll have to go to the garage to repair. You can hear just as Mike Wallace picked the throttle back up, that's when his car got loose and jumped up the racetrack. So he's trying to get back to the throttle right here. Car wiggles, and
it's just a matter of inches that David Stremme would have been clear of Mike Wallace.
Let's listen in. You can hear.
Hey, if I touched him, I don't even know that I did. Oh, not at all. I just seen you go in and just seen it pushed up. I don't know if something was down on the track or whatever, and he just lost it.
Jamie.
Guys, Jeff Burton, remember they made an air pressure adjustment on the last stop. He said he had a right front vibration. He came in, he said, I hate to do this, but we need to make this adjustment. They're taking some air out of those right sides now. Fuel and 4 tires, he's down and away.
Whoa, little teammates side by side. Boyer, Burton.
Both these teammates giving up a ton of track position to make this pit stop. Gonna line up back about 20th spot.
Yeah, I guess these guys are counting on this going these next 103 laps for sure to come in at that time, especially Clint Boyer, who's trying to hold on to this points lead right now.
If Jeff Burton had a vibration, he may have thought he had a loose wheel, and that was the right opportunity when the caution came out to go ahead and get it fixed, if that's what it was.
Certainly.
Here's Mike Wallace coming down pit road, involved in that contact a moment ago with Stremme. There's Mike leaving. The 11 car, Scott Lagasse Jr. got the free pass. The Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass to get a lap back. 61 car, Brandon Witt gets a speeding ticket on pit road, too fast on exit. You're allowed 45 plus 5, and he was faster than that on the exit, so he will come back through. 2 laps away from halfway. We have had 5 caution flags for 25 laps, 2 red flags. See Lagasse going there. You see him just disappearing there. He will get back on the lead lap, and Kyle Busch is our leader, and the reason for the caution flag, this contact here, and there's David Stremme out surveying the damage. on his Chevrolet. Shannon?
Down here with David Stremme, who's checking out this car, this 64 car, guys. David, can you just tell me what happened? What'd you see?
I think anybody with common sense can see what happened when a guy drives over his head. And, I mean, everybody's fighting loose in that, but you got to keep your car under control. And I guess he didn't and got into us and wrecked us.
Obviously, very disappointed David Stremme, you guys.
Like I said, Andy, it was just barely a touch. You know, Stremme was almost by him there. And these guys, to make these cars run fast, we've got these tapered spacers. It's taking a lot of the speed out of them. They're having to run these cars so loose here to get speed out of them. And when you get side by side, these are the kind of things that are going to happen, unfortunately.
Now, these guys are 12th in the point standings. That's why they're working so hard to get the car back on the racetrack. They want to be able to hang in that top 15 in the points here with just 4 races to go. Pace car brings them down. Kyle Busch, Mike Bliss, Vickers, Blaney, Logano, the top 5. As the Pace truck pulls away, why don't we listen into the spotters as we go full throttle.
All right, boss. Pace car's in. Be ready. Be ready. Be ready. 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 Checking up, checking up, checking up. Green flag, green flag, green flag. Easy, spinning in front of you. Easy, easy. Nobody. Ought to be a black flag for that.
Mike Wallace sideways across the grass, damage on the back of his car. And the 17 of McMurray spinning. There's the 17 trying to get back going. He was across the grass.
Heard the spotter saying, checking up, and that's what happens on these restarts. Somebody misses a gear, or you know, something goes spin the tires. They can do anything there. It causes a big pileup like that.
Yeah, when you're at least 7th, 8th on back, you're sitting there anticipating whenever everything's going to happen, and whenever they start going, and you anticipate that, you're in the gas, so it doesn't take much for it to mess things up,
and it'll eventually stack up. Even if the guys that right around the problem do check up, it actually stacks up behind them until somebody finally makes contact.
Yeah, Jimmie Murray was the first one, it looked like, that got spun in that as he tried to avoid those cars. He got hit in the rear.
Well, this will officially be the 6th caution flag. Poor old Kevin Moss, a NASCAR flagman, was waving the green with one hand and the caution with the other. So now watch the restart sort of checking up here, the 6 and the 5, and then above them is the 17.
You see how that was really a lot farther back than where all the action was starting. I mean, it was starting to jam up front.
Yeah, it was the 99 car that got into the 17 there to start with.
From Kevin Harvick's car.
Checking up, checking up, checking up. Green flag, green flag.
This was well ahead of Jamie.
Spin behind you, don't caution yet. Caution's out, caution's out. Watch your back.
Jeff Burton.
I think this is all going to happen right in front of him.
Spinning in front of you. Easy, easy. Nobody's going. Come on, no caution. Come on. Caution's out, caution's out. Good job, 18. Good job. Fucking 30.
A couple other cars in contact. The 09 got into the back of the 99, lifted David Ruderman up, but there doesn't seem to be any significant damage there. That is John West Townley on that checkup. 30 car was the contact Stanton Barrett with the 7 car of Mike Wallace.
And looking down here, see quite a bit of damage on the front of a number of these cars that were back there. And that,
trying to figure out exactly what happened right there, because it could have been that Kyle Busch just brought them back down really slow, and some of these guys were ready to go. Because that jam up started well ahead of where these cars started spinning.
Yeah, he is the leader, so he can start. He's got a point that he can go to. See Kyle Busch coming down here. He's supposed to keep pretty much the pace that he was behind the pace car there.
I think what it is, he just brought them down. Well, a long way toward the flag. I think you can start going a lot closer, a lot further up.
Yeah.
Looks like the 18 car had slowed down just a little bit and then carried that starting point down towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, and you actually have from the start-finish line to that point on the wall to make your restart. You don't have to start it at that. That's where everybody's anticipating that you're going to start it, but you actually have all of that time to get that. But NASCAR is saying something to the 18 car about slowing down too much and not keeping up that part. You can see these two lines, they're right there on the wall, the red lines. Now that's the restart point. They can't start going before that point, but they can carry it further from that point. They don't have to be right there. They can go all the way to the start-finish line if they like.
Now watch the speed indicator. The pace car is running 55, pace truck running 55 miles an hour.
So he pulls off right here.
He's holding a pretty steady speed all the way down. I think when we get to this point, the guys behind him are ready to go.
Yeah. Like I say, they're just anticipating. They know, basically all the drivers know where those two red lines are, and you're thinking that that's where that leader's going to take off, but he doesn't have to do that. So he was just kind of shaking things up a little bit, and that's really his prerogative to do that.
Yeah, part of the perks of being a leader, you start the race.
Yes.
You restart the race.
That's right. Yeah, only on the initial green flag of the race is whenever the starter starts the race.
Listening to David Rudeman, who got a little bit of a pop from behind on that restart.
They don't do something to 18 for that crap. Get with the 17 spotter, man. Tell him I'm sorry about that. That says we get killed on the right recorder, Sean.
Okay, let's try this one more time here. Here they come down, and the pace truck will pull away. See if everybody can make another lap here. Listen in to the spotters again as we go full throttle.
Be ready. He'll go quick this time. Be ready. Ready, green, green, green. Everything's good. About 3 back to the 30. The last one. Car inside. Now you're all clear. Lapper coming up on him quick on the bottom. 2 lappers on the bottom. Clear. Still there. All clear. Good job. You're clear by 3. You're clear by 3. There. Still inside. Still inside. You're clear. Another one coming. Coming up on the side. You're all clear. Nothing behind you. Purple on a flag. Looking inside. 30. Clear by side. Back to the 60. Clear low. Half.
First 8 cars separated single filed, and then a little gap back to 9th and 10th. Clint Boyer, there's a 2 car being passed by Marcus Ambrose. That's 14th spot.
Yeah, back in 15. That's a long way back, a lot further back than he'd like to be. At this point in time of the races, we're just past halfway.
Remember, he and Jeff Burton came back in the pits to make that adjustment and change some tires. Jamie Little?
Yeah, and the 2 car, Clint Boyer did the same thing. They banged out the fenders a little bit. Didn't take tires, just fuel. They did come in on lap 96. That's why he shuffled back just a bit.
So Boyer back in 15th, Burton back in 17th.
Trouble. Got a car in the wall.
Joey Logano way up across the racetrack. See how much he scraped it when he comes by.
Caution's out. He hit it pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up in that high groove here. You can see him trying to make a pass on Dave Blaney. Jumps in the gas. Car just gets out from under him. See Logano getting the throttle and car just gets loose. Another hard lesson learned.
Yeah, he's finding out how treacherous this racetrack can be. A lot of guys have found that out the hard way.
Caution number 7. Picking up some debris there. Safety workers up across the racetrack. The 28 car, Kenny Wallace, will get the free pass. That will now give us 23 cars on the lead lap. Do you come? They came, what, lap 96? So came, what, just 8 laps ago? How about the guys that took on 2 tires? About the 32 and the 10?
One of them there's coming. Looks like the 10.
Yeah, now it's time to start playing some strategies, maybe, because it can definitely go from here on one stop.
Yep.
Dave Blaney, who won this race, his only nationwide win back in 2006.
That's Logano you see coming in with his damaged car.
Checking the 10 pits, Dave.
And Dave Blaney has some damage to the front end of that car, and it was running very hot. Didn't push any water out, according to the driver, so they're not going to add any to it, but they are going to try to remove some tape from the front end. They're going to put a set of sticker tires on here, save a pair that they scuffed during practice for the end. Now the tape coming off the front grille, just a strip down the middle, and now they're going to pull some more off the front of that car, but it may have happened on that restart when everybody got stacked up together.
It's a good move bringing this car down pit road because it would have run hot. See how that hood's mashed down? No air hardly gets in that opening when you have it mashed down like that. So these guys did the right thing by coming in.
It's taking a lot of tape off of it, though. They're going to have to be careful not to hurt the handling too much. I know that you can't run it hot, but you have to be careful not getting too much off. You should be flying the nose then.
All the bottom and all the top. All the bottom and all the top.
See him trying to pull some of that screen back out. If it gets back in there too far, the air just won't get to it. It'll hit the front of it and front of the nose and go up.
See, they did open the grill up quite a bit, and it may make the car push, but they probably got the car so hot, they have to do something to get it cooled down.
Let's go down to our ESPN Tech Center in Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Jerry. What's going to happen right here, folks, is you knock this panel down, it comes down here and closes off this grill opening, and if you can't get that air coming through the nose right here at the grill, over to this radiator to cool the thing, you're in trouble. But when you hit and drive up under these cars, pushes every bit of the sheet metal right down there.
And now we'll make it get hot in a hurry. So a break for the 10 car of Dave Blaney. Joey Logano back on pit road. He had led early here trying to get some repairs to the right side of what was a brand new car.
See him working on that right rear quarter panel of the car. Yeah, I thought the damage was actually worse than what it looks like there. We'll have to see exactly how it affects him when they go back to green.
It's a pretty good lick. I mean, they're doing a good job of rebuilding it. They're trying to take this, you see this round bat, basically, they're taking down through there just to get clearance on that right rear. If they can get enough clearance statically, that right rear will not rub. They'll be okay on that.
Looks like they might have a brace broken back there too. You don't want that quarter panel flopping into the air either, because that's going to hurt him as far as the downforce goes on the rear of the car.
He had already led, by the way, twice for 32 laps in his first ever start in a nationwide car here at this racetrack.
Yeah, it's got the spoiler up in there some too. That's going to create some more drag. I think there's going to be some downforce, but it's just going to create a little bit more drag.
He's got a flap on that quarter panel that I'd worry about too, though.
Yeah.
Make sure that thing doesn't come off.
Let's see if the third time's the charm. Third restart in the last 12 laps. See if we can make it a couple laps here as Kyle Busch will lead him down again.
See Kyle Busch getting away on the start on the jump, but Mike Bliss was able to stay right with him on that last little short run we had.
Brian Vickers hanging there just like you talked about. A very impressive run. They had no laps on this race car. He crashed in qualifying, brought the backup out, and it's up in the top 5. See Carl Edwards trying to work the inside, but he gets a little bit loose as he goes up the racetrack. Opens the door for David Reagan to take that spot away.
David will pull on the inside of him, and Kevin Harvick will watch from behind. More on David Reagan, Dave.
And that is the same car he finished so well with at Kansas 2 weeks ago. They basically changed everything or looked at everything that moved on that car suspension-wise. And the hardest thing about getting this car prepared for this week was flipping the paint scheme. Same sponsor, but this is a primarily black paint scheme. They took it down to primer, repainted it, re-decaled it. And that took the longest time of all, but it's a very good race car for Reagan.
Indeed, very good. And Reagan now trying to move in on Vickers. Remember, the 32 car only took 2 tires on that lap 96 stop. Here is Carl Edwards trying to reel in the 2 car in terms of the championship. Right now, Carl is 160 points back. He started the day, this race, 196 back because Carl is running second and the 2 car is back in 13th position. There's Boyer.
Yeah, back in a lot of traffic right now, but trying to make his way forward. See Marcus Ambrose right in front. There's Brad Keselowski. Kelly Byers.
He just needs to be cool right here. He doesn't need to make anything happen. He just needs to try to work through this methodically.
Yeah, you said it right at the beginning of the show, Andy. They just don't need to do anything wrong. They don't, they don't have to win every race. They're in position and in position to kind of guide and make everything happen here. They're in the spot where everybody has to chase them down. If they do everything right, like they are very capable and have done to this point, then they can be champions in a few weeks.
Carl wanted to make up about 35 or 40 points a race over these final 5 races and be able, he thought he would be there. He would indeed, and right now he is gained by some 35 points from where he was when the race began.
Look at this Carfax telemetry. You can see just how much throttle these cars can run. So he gets out of the throttle here, goes back to it pretty well hard, just wide open. Whoa, just about gets in the back of Marcus Ambrose.
That's 12th, 13th, and 14th there. Boyer going by. Teammate Burton trying to take 13th away from Ambrose. Stephen Wallace behind them in the 66 car. He is in 15th spot.
Get these cars running side by side again. Allows these guys behind Jamie McMurray, David Ruderman to catch up to him. Burton's able to make the pass now.
Our Holiday Inn race summary. There have been 6 leaders thus far tonight, 8 different lead changes. Kyle Busch has led the bulk of the laps. The average speed just over 105 miles an hour. Still have 23 cars on the lead lap. And we've had 32 laps of caution. We've been under caution 7 times tonight, and there are currently 8 cars that have gone back to the garage area. More on Stephen Wallace. Dave.
Yeah, going backwards right now, Doc, is a 66, and same condition that he's had most of the night. He's one of those cars that has been loose all night long. They made a wedge and air pressure adjustment the last time he was down pit road, but just can't seem to work that out. So we got trouble on the track, guys.
Jimmie Johnson, Sprint Cup points leader, and he spins around and comes to contact.
Yep. Sorry, guys. I finally lost it.
Yeah, it's off of turn 2 down the backstretch.
He's talked about how loose this car's been all night long. You heard him say right there he just lost it.
Pretty tore up, guys. All right, let's go to the garage.
Jimmie making only his 4th start of the year. Obviously, the focus is on what happens tomorrow night with him as the points leader in the NASCAR Sprint Cup, trying to win his 3rd consecutive title. But likewise wanted to win for the first time at what is considered to be his home and favorite track in the Nationwide car. Here's what happened.
You see him off turn 2 there, just gets, as he said, got away from him. Tries to save it here. Ooh, Brad Keselowski does a great job of missing him, but he can't keep it out of the inside wall.
Watch how fast this car snapped around. There's not much chance to save that.
No, he was driving it and looked like he might have it right here, but then as it moved down across the racetrack, just not able to keep it out of that inside retaining wall. Yeah, they have put a safer barrier up here, as you can see, on the inside.
Pit stops. Let's go down there to Shannon Spade.
Well, they are going to make an adjustment on Kyle Busch's car. He's saying it's just a little bit loose as he's pulling that 18 car.
And Carl Edwards, and you see him working on the right side there. They were waiting it out to see if the leaders came, and they did, so they came back in. They're working on the left side there. Car was getting better. Carl Edwards came in. He was 4th on the board. They're down and away. Guys.
Race off of pit road, and by the way, the 32 car, Brian Vickers, did not pit. There's the options off of pit. Boyer up 7 spots. Allgaier, the Penske guys, up 10 positions. Matt Gimbel and company. There's the 10 car of Dave Blaney. They had the damage in the front that Tim Brewer showed you. They got to be able to get that grill opened up, that hood up, so you can get some air in it.
Well, they've reshaped it. Now they're trying to get a little bit of tape back on it, just like you said, Dale. They probably pulled too much off and made the car push. They get the car cooled back down. He said they put tape back on that bottom part. They've reshaped the upper part of the grill.
Yeah.
Still working on the 20 car for Joey Logano after his contact with the wall back on lap 106. He is still on the lead lap, one of 23 cars that are on the lead lap, make it 22. And the 5 car of Jimmie Johnson is headed back to the garage area to get some work done there.
Watch this work taking place. I'm not sure they'll get this car back out on the track.
Jimmie hasn't had a lot of luck here in the Nationwide car in this October race. This was a year ago.
Also in turn 2, that turn's not been very friendly to Jimmie, at least in the Nationwide series. This one here took a few more guys with him.
Yeah, 6-car crash back last October involved the driver that ended up winning the NASCAR Nationwide Series title. Let's go down to Mike.
And catching up with Trent Owen, first off, talk to me a little bit about that pit strategy. Why'd you decide to stay out?
Well, I thought some more guys towards the tail end of the lead lap cars would stay out. So, you know, we made that strategy, so we'll have to stick with it. You got to get to lap 140, 144 before you can make it to the end of the race on fuel. So hopefully this will work out in our favor. We can pit when we need the fuel, and these guys will have to come back in.
What's this been like for you and this team adjusting this car, enabling Brian to drive it to the front?
Well, it's kind of been a nightmare having to go to a backup car, but we took our primary car, took all the suspension off of it, put on the backup car, and it's performing fairly well for what we had to work with. I think looks like lap time wise we got about a 4th or 5th place car, so you know it's going to take some tricky strategy to win the race, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Well, Doc, it's an awful lot of work when you have to turn a backup car into your primary car, but when it's running this well, it's worth it.
And remember, this is the team that won here in the spring. They had Kyle Busch driving the car. They did a great job. Trent Owens, by the way, is the nephew of Richard Petty, and comes from very good stock and a long line of people involved in the sport. And Trent rolling the dice, Andy, knowing he's got to get to lap 140 to fuel and tires for the last time.
This team has nothing to lose. They came here to win, and he said he had a 4th place car, so you can try to do what you can to make a winning car out of it. You got to try some trick strategy, just like he said.
Got to steal one.
Yeah, see if you can steal one. He's up here and he's got the lead right now. This might work out.
Yeah, Jeff Burton didn't pit there either. He's got some track position back now, and he does have fresher tires than what Brian Vickers has. Jeff, we saw 2 cautions ago. Let's see if we can talk to Jeff. Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yeah, man.
Hey, you got your track position back. Has your car changed and the track changed since that rain delay?
We've been really loose since that second run, and we keep working on tightening up. So for us, we keep getting looser, but you know that's the biggest thing I've seen right now. We just got to get a little bit tighter. The sequences on the tires, you know, every time we run them, they get tighter. So I think we'll be okay right here. But when we get ready to put tires on again, we're going to tighten up.
All right, man. Come to the green. Good luck.
Remember, Jeff Burton making his final start in the Nationwide Series car for 2008. We'll focus on the chase. He's currently 4th in the Cup points. Hasn't won this year.
Now, how cool is that? These guys will talk to us coming to the green flag. I mean, they've got one to go, and they take the time. They let us know when they're ready to talk, but that's pretty cool these guys do it. Almost every one of them have been like this, and, of course, Jeff, being the great guy that he is, takes time to answer our questions.
That is great. As the pace truck will pull away, we'll see if Brian Vickers with only 2 tires, and now Jeff Burton behind him with 4 fresher tires. He came in 8 laps later. So who can hold off who here with just 80 laps to go?
I was impressed. Vickers was able to hang on in 3rd there a while ago. I thought he was going to get past. So let's see how he can do out front and trying to keep Jeff Burton behind him. Burton makes a move to the inside. Well, that didn't. Well, here he comes back on the outside. I thought Jeff had him cleared, but not quite.
Took a little more work to do when you get down here to 3 and 4.
Well, Vickers is driving that car.
He is now. Look at that
getting the gas, and that thing stick. Wow.
Guess who?
Yeah.
Comes Kyle Busch.
Quick to the outside, coming outside.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. As he has been all night, and quite a few other times this year. Talk about Kyle Busch there as he passed Jeff Burton on the outside and turns 1 and 2 and goes to the inside of Brian Vickers and takes the lead back. All about a lap and 3/4.
I'll tell you that one car isn't any slouch back behind him there. Bliss is coming pretty quickly, and behind him was the 88 car of Brad Keselowski.
I heard a lot of these guys talking about being able to run wide open down in turns 1 and 2 with these cars, and especially with the grip tonight. I believe Kyle Busch is running about wide open all the way around here. See a battle here?
Yeah, 3 6s. Pretty good hand. 9th and 10th spot.
Stephen Wallace done a nice job tonight. Continuously working on that race car. We heard him talk about not having exactly where he wanted it, but they had the caution flags, and they've been in here working on it with every one of them. Big car bottom out just a little bit right there. Got the 99 right there, the 60 and the 12.
How about Justin Allgaier in the 12 car running side by side with the reigning series champion, Carl Edwards?
I don't think he's really paid.
Whoa, got trouble.
Oh, man.
And
oh, no, he didn't miss that one.
Didn't miss that one, and he gets it hard. Stephen Wallace involved.
Hold your brake.
Wow, that's too bad.
Jeff Green's car up on one side, the 31 car. There's Stephen pulling away, and there's the heavily damaged 31 car of Jeff Green.
Yeah, Jeff Green was 3 laps down running there.
Caused some serious air right there.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if he got
in the air.
tapped. I just saw the car out of shape to start with. See Justin Allgaier get out of his car, so he is okay and walking away. Hard lick that he took there. He thought he was by and got clipped just in the right rear corner. It's unfortunate. That young man was doing a terrific job in his first time in a nationwide car.
Just to put it in perspective, those cars, Kyle Busch was running qualifying speeds right there. This racetrack's extremely fast right now.
And they're bringing the cars down pit road just as a pass through there because the front stretch is blocked.
Let's see what happened. The 31, there's David Reagan going by.
Yeah, it's hard to tell right from that angle if he got a tap or if it was just the air loosening that car up from Stephen Wallace's 66 car getting right up behind him. Hard hit by Justin Allgaier.
Look at Rudeman. He got by the initial contact and it has to dodge Allgaier on the inside.
Let's see if we can see here if there's any contact. We'd seen Jeff Green get loose earlier in the night. No contact yet. He gets loose right there. Yeah, he was getting loose.
He got loose before Stephen Wallace got into the back bumper.
Watch the right side of that Chevy come up, and the roof flaps open up and the car settles back down. Rudeman was right behind this mess. Now watch this car get up on one side and coming right at you.
This ought to be a good camera shot.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's not good when we can see the tailpipes from one of our cameras, is it?
Wow. Look at the 99 behind.
David Reagan just on the outside of this too. David Rudeman gets into the wall a little bit there.
And Rudeman has to dodge a 12. Watch the 12 come back over in front of Rudeman.
That's the hardest lick of that wreck right there was Justin Allgaier.
Yeah.
He hit that wall hard right there on the inside. Good to see him get out of the car.
Watch this now from
Spin in front of you. Go low, go low, go low, go low, go low, go low. Stay in it. Go low, go low, go low. Come on, come on. Spread them. There you go. Watch. Go high, go high, go high, go high, go high.
Wow. Great camera angles and great shots. The car getting airborne coming right at you there. And been a tough night for several drivers. Second time the 31's been involved. And you hate it for any young drivers that are having to call it a night, including Stephen Wallace, who's down with Dave right now.
Yeah, Doc, and he was having quite a duel with David Reagan there until that happened. Steve, what happened with the 31 in the issue there?
Well, 31 just and Jeff Green was a lap down. Our 5-hour car was running really, really fast. I'm not going to blame it on him, but the lead lap cars are racing awful hard. It was about 80 laps to go, and he's just looks to me like he just got aero loose, and I was behind him, and he just lost it. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just as much my fault because I was behind him, I guess, and got him a little loose, but he was already aero loose, We raced him side by side for like 2 or 3 laps, and then he spun out. So I don't know. Shade it for a 5-hour car. We've all worked really, really hard. It's a hard time to find sponsors the way the economy is right now, and we've tore up 200,000 race cars RWI has tonight. So just want to apologize to everybody, but we'll go get them next week.
Tough weekend for Steve Wallace, Doc.
Tough weekend for that team. David Stremmy's car involving an incident with Mike Wallace. Heavy damage on his car, and then Steven, who was having a good run, now gets damaged in that multi-car crash.
Yeah, it's hard to lay blame there on anybody. I mean, Jeff Green, as he said, was laps down, but Jeff Green was on the bottom of the racetrack, so he wasn't doing anything wrong. He's still racing, and you know, Steven really didn't get into him until Jeff had already gotten loose, and as he said, an arrow loose. So that's racing. I think that's the type of things that are going to happen anytime that you get on a racetrack, and especially at these speeds. Just very unfortunate for a lot of good young race drivers there.
And a night that Justin Allgaier will remember, his big opportunity to drive in his NASCAR Nationwide debut for Roger Penske comes up short. Back in a moment.
Cleaning up after a nasty spill down the front straightaway. The drivers all in good shape. Stephen Wallace, we talked with him. We saw Justin Allgaier out of his car, and Jeff Green has been treated and released from the infield medical center. Now, I want to show you a couple things, how a championship chance, we've heard Carl Edwards' team talk about trying to get back into this championship, how little things can almost end their championship hopes. These were the pit stops at lap 118. Most of the other teams get fuel only or just right side tires. Carl Edwards' team chooses to get 4 tires. That puts him all the way back to 14th on the restart. That puts him from in front of the wreck to back in the pack. And then, Rusty, when this all happens off turn 4, keep an eye on that 60 car.
Oh, man, I tell you, everything is happening right in front of Carl Edwards right now, right where he doesn't want to be. Let's take a look and see if he gets through this thing. Take a look at this, right to the bottom. Everybody's crashing in front. You know what? He just got lucky there.
He did get lucky, but you know, guys, you have to make these decisions. They're part of your strategy. These things are going to happen throughout a race. You just got to roll the dice. Sometimes you end up lucky and get yourself up front, get a chance to win. Sometimes you don't.
Edwards is running in 10th right now, while Clint Boyer's in 6th. I mentioned Jeff Green a minute ago. Mike's with him now.
And Alan, he's just left the care center. He's fine, but you took a wild ride. What happened?
I got run over. Just got turned around. First of all, our night was pretty bad from the get-go. We got had a flat tire and got spun through the infield, and we were going to make a dime of it, but 66 just run over me. You know, Steven, I love him to death, but he's got to slow down to go faster, and he just runs over. Just tears his car up way too much, so probably pretty much killed our car. And Curtis doesn't need that. Just try to come out here and make some laps and run some, basically, but just got run over, so it was just a bad night for us.
And Jeff Green, a former series champion, very disappointed, but he's okay. Let's go over and grab Justin Allgaier. Rough way to make your debut. You told us in the pre-race your objective was just to kind of keep the fenders on it. You were doing a pretty good job tonight, but didn't look like you had anywhere to go. What was your take on what happened?
To be honest with you, you know, wrong place, wrong time. We thought we had it cleared, and Spotter was doing a good job getting me cleared of it. And unfortunately, we got caught up in somebody else's mess. And, you know, it's a shame for all these guys on the Penske truck rental Dodge. They did a great job all night. We were finally getting the car where we wanted it to be, and it's just a shame. We'll have to get them the next time and come back, and I think we'll be a lot more competitive next time around.
You took a pretty heavy lick. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. You know, the safer barriers, and Penske's done a great job of building a safe race car, so I'm all right. Just had to get out. It was on fire there. It's unfortunate, but like I said, the Penske truck rental Dodge was great. These guys did a great job, and we're finally getting where we wanted to be, and unfortunately, we got caught up in somebody else's mess.
Well, Doc, a disappointing end to what looked to be a very promising debut for Justin Allgaier.
I'm sure we will hear more from this young man for many, many years to come. Justin Allgaier getting a hug from family there. He will head off to Toledo to run the ARCA race on Sunday. Let's check in down in the leaders pits with Jamie.
Yes, and that would be Clint Boyer that we're talking about. Dan Deeringhoff, his crew chief. You guys sitting 6th now. The last 2 times you pitted, you didn't take tires. It's been about 47 laps. How are you feeling about that call right now?
Well, I mean, we're all right. We got right at 20 green laps on our tires, and the BB&T Chevrolet's kind of throwing us a little kink tonight, and we're just trying to get it better and work on it big in the beginning of the race here, and then we had to get some track position back, and we'll be all right. We got a long ways to go yet.
He slipped back to 18th there for a while. This is the first time in the entire race he's been ahead of the 60. How good is this car?
I think it's a pretty good car right now. He says it's quite a bit better, and probably 1 or 2 adjustments away yet, but that's a lot better than the 100 it seemed like we were away from at the beginning.
He sounds like a happy driver now. Shannon?
Yeah, Jamie, really a team effort up here in the 18 pit box. We got J.D. Gibbs, Steve Addington, Joel Weidman, who's calling the race for Kyle Busch up here tonight. So you have the driver. Do you guys have the car to win this race tonight?
Yeah, we definitely have the car. We just got to make sure that we don't mess up here in the pits. Make sure we get the right calls.
What do you think is going to be who do you think is going to be your biggest challenge on this racetrack on your way to victory lane?
There's a lot of cars that have been tough. A lot of guys have taken 2 tires here. The one car seems to be really strong right now. So it's anybody's game right now.
All right, and you guys, we've talked about all week and all year about how this is a team effort, and obviously you can see that up here tonight.
Hoping to be able to pull off the sweep here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Again, the cars involved in the latest incident on lap 125, the 31 of Jeff Green, Stephen Wallace involved, the 12 car Justin Allgaier, the 99 of David Rudeman getting into the wall and also getting some contact on the front of his Toyota. Those were the 4 primary cars.
Yeah, that crew chief there was being kind of politically correct when he was talking about they're the only ones that can stop them from winning that race tonight, or this race tonight. It looks like, and a lot of it can have, and I know Alan Bestwick's sitting down there saying it's not over till it's over, and that's exactly right. And Mike Bliss has been very fast. If he can get back up there to Kyle Busch's bumper, this could get quite interesting.
Pits will be open this time by. We'll see what kind of takers we get. They've been having to come down pit road so they could get the track cleaned up now, but they are open for pit stops, and
we have one taker, Brian Vickers.
Brian Vickers, yeah. A little earlier than they were talking about, but it's an opportunity I think they have to take now.
Mike?
And Brian Vickers on pit road, real happy with the race car, looking for a 4-tire change in fuel. Only an air pressure adjustment. That's all, though, due to the 32 car. Amazing, considering this was the backup car and they had very little time to get it outfitted for this race. He's away. A very good stop, Dave.
A couple of Roush Fenway teammates on pit road. David Reagan will get that car topped off with fuel. No other changes to hit. And also the 17 car of Jamie McMurray is on pit road. The left front fender got pushed in the jam up on that last little scuffle out there. They also want to check something else on the car repairs wise, but it looks like they're going to be able to get that left front just about as tidy as it was before. Make that car very aerodynamic as Jamie heads back out. 10 car of Blaney on pit road as well.
Andy, now Brian Vickers' situation there, they could make it from lap 140. That could make it 60 laps. They're going to have to run 68 laps. Is this a short pitting and hoping for some yellow flags, maybe some laps?
You know, they may be thinking that this race could be short because it is so late. And if they go ahead and get fuel now, maybe they can make it to whenever this race might happen to end. But they had stayed out there and kind of rolled the dice. I believe I would have rode that out just a little bit farther.
Yeah, the only thing that we're going to have to get close to, possibly, you know, you get to these type situations, then we get a long green flag run, and they would have to make a pit stop under green when others might not have. So
we
they
haven't had a threat of that
down there for a while.
We hadn't had a threat of a long green flag run yet.
Still working on Joey Logano's car on the right side of his car where the young man was trying to make a pass and bounced it off the wall out of turn 4 after leading early here. Said he had a lot of great memories of running Legends cars here on the little oval in the front straightaway, but the first time he had been in a NASCAR Nationwide car here on the big mile-and-a-half track. Making his 15th start of the year. 10 top 10 finishes, 2 poles and a win. Not a bad start when you're 18 years old.
A good way to get things started for your career in NASCAR racing.
Marcus Ambrose back in. They have signaled 1 to go, so they will come in and top him off in fuel.
Yeah, they might think that if they get enough of these cautions, and we've had so many, they might be able to stretch these fuel tanks to the end. You know, this might be the last time you see the 59 car on pit road. Same thing with Brian Vickers. Saw the 6 car.
Yeah, I think in your pit win you gave like 52 to 60 laps beginning of the race.
Yeah,
so maybe they were on that high end to start with, and they could stretch that just a little bit or have the cautions. And we have had those. Yeah.
Well, the question is, can anyone handle the 18 cars? Burton got something. Everyone thinks the 1 car, maybe the second strongest car on the racetrack. And the 88 was coming. Remember, back in May, we keep saying that Brad Keselowski was one of the quickest cars, if not the quickest car on the track in the final 35 or 40 laps.
Done a great job tonight to drive that car up to the top 5 from back in the pack. And the car was not good early. He was very loose and not able to really move up. But now he's made his way to the top 5. Great job by that whole team.
It'll be 66 to go as Kyle Busch brings him down to the green flag.
Our restarts have been a lot better here since that incident that we had a little bit earlier about, what, 3 cautions back. You see Jeff Burton right on Kyle Busch here right now as they go through turns 1 and 2. Watch this 18 get away. Just gets such a run off the corner. Stretches out another couple of car lengths there. Oh.
Been an eventful night for Jamie McMurray. Sat on the pole, and he's been involved in I don't know how many altercations on the racetrack and missed a few wrecks.
Lost a lap, thought he had a tire going down. It wasn't the case.
Still digging on the lead lap.
Yeah, in 15th spot. You'd think after all of that it'd be a lot further back or in the garage, but still digging.
There's a 60 car digging on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get me inside of Casey Kane. That would be for the 7th position. '64, David Strimmy, by the way, back on the racetrack after that damage. He's being shown some 31 laps down in 35th position.
That yellow car on the high side, that is Brian Vickers, who just came in there just in front of Jamie McMurray, trying to make his way back. He came in when he was running 3rd there.
More on the 32, Mike.
Well, guys, as we were talking about the pit strategy of the 32, I climbed up on top of the pit box and spoke with Trent Owen, asked him how close he was on fuel. He said they're real close, planning to go the distance, but it would certainly help if they got about 4, maybe 5 laps of caution to just help them get to the finish.
Gotta believe most of these guys, or a lot of these guys, will have to make one more stop. And of course, the question is, if Ryan stays out and we stay green, he could be in good shape if he can make it. Pretty good battle here for 3rd position. Bliss trying to hold off the challenge of Keselowski. They've been running like this for about the last 7 or 8 laps, and Brad will move in, and then Bliss will move away.
Yeah, Keselowski's putting a lot of pressure on him. He wants that 3rd spot. See, he takes a little wider arc and staying a little bit higher in the corner. He's going to make a nice run off of this corner. Watch as he gains on the 1 car down the front straightaway here. Mike Bliss having a very good run, but these 2 guys are 3rd and 4th in the points, are doing an excellent job here tonight. Shannon, how about Mike Bliss?
Well, I spoke with Mike Bliss today, and I asked him if he thinks he's getting close to getting to victory lane. He told me every week that he comes to the racetrack, he feels like he can win a race. This team has certainly come a long way this season. He told me that if I win 1 race this season, I feel like I can certainly win another race. And guys, a little sidebar, as they're chasing down Kyle Busch, Mike Bliss's win here at Lowe's Motor Speedway was in a Joe Gibbs racing car. Ironically, Steve Addington, Kyle Busch's crew chief, was Mike Bliss's crew chief in that race.
That is Mike's only career victory in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Came in October of 2004. And now Keselowski makes the pass and takes a spot away.
2 cars are pretty even. Both cars have Hendrick motors under the hood. The James Finch team also uses Hendrick Motorsports power.
It looked like Bliss might have been a little bit loose there in trying to keep the 88 behind him, so he just decided to give that up. I think the 1 car is really good on the longer runs. Here we see Jamie McMurray going around the 6 of David Reagan and the 38 all in 1 corner. He's getting it on right now.
Well, he is flying all of a sudden, Dave.
And I don't know if it's because it sounds like more of a hot rod or not. He's actually got a separation in part of the body work on the side where the exhaust pipes exit. And it's really, really loud right now for Jamie McMurray. He had to turn up his radio so he could hear his crew. They've got a patch ready in case they can put that on before the end of this race. But it's kind of something to either bother you or motivate you.
That thing will run. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
58 laps to go. He can put up with it for that long if it'll keep running.
Yeah, he got hit in the right door there, right where in the right side on that last deal as he was down through the grass trying to avoid all of that accident, but he did catch a little piece of another car in the door, so that's made things kind of loud in there for him. But like I say, he's moving towards the front, so I'm sure he's enjoying that.
Last lap by, Kyle Busch was exactly 1/1000th of a second faster than Jeff Burton in second spot. So running about even, but there's about 8 or 9 car lengths between them.
It has started to balance out between these two cars. Kyle Busch jumped out there to a pretty big lead, running real fast lap times, faster than he qualified. But then you see now that the 29 car is able to start making ground back towards him.
15th, 16th, and 17th here on the screen. The 11 car, Scott Lagasse Jr. doing a pretty good job, making only his 3rd start for this team. Jason Leffler trying to get back around him. They had Lagasse had made the pass.
And Scott Lagasse qualified 13th, and he's sitting here running in the top 15. He's got a solid race going.
Marcus Ambrose behind them and had come back in and topped off his tank.
See Lagasse get a little bit loose there and move up the track, and that's going to open the door for Marcus Ambrose. Cuts him off a little bit there as they get to the tri-oval.
Like had a little contact between these two. See right here. Whoa. Oh, that did some damage.
Wow. Man.
Crinkled the fender on Scott Lagasse's right front. Gotta be careful that doesn't cut a tire down.
Leffler able to make the pass. Lagasse holding on to the position. Moving in on 50 laps to go here. 60 car continuing his march back toward the front. He will take the 6th spot away from Mike Wallace.
And Casey Kane right behind them. Casey's moved his line down a little bit. He'd been running at the very top of the racetrack. Mike Wallace not wanting to give that spot up to Carl Edwards just yet. All able to make that pass. He lost those spots in the pits when he took on 4 tires just a little while ago, and a lot of other cars had 2 or either stayed out on the racetrack, so he's having to fight his way back. Jamie?
Guys, the 60 car, Carl Edwards, he has 1 car up ahead of him he's looking at, and that's the number 2 of Clint Bowyer. They're very cognizant of where Bowyer is at all times because it's them they're trying to beat in the championship points. He came in, as we've talked about, 196 points behind the 2 car. I talked to Drew Blickensturfer. He said, we've been, pretty careful lately, and now with 5 races to go, we need to step it up. We need to be aggressive, and we need to win races. That's all that matters right now. So Carl Edwards on the charge looking for that 2 car.
Doesn't have much choice, Jamie. He's got to go after it, and he came in with the kind of deficit he had trying to make it. Got to pick up 40 couple points a race to be able to be even with him. And right now he's about where he started, 196 points back.
He's still behind Clint Bowyer on the racetrack. Clint's done a good job tonight too. Put that car up in the top 5.
You can see Bowyer right there, just ahead of Carl Edwards, about a half a straightaway. Clint had fought a loose race car for a lot of the night. Looks like they made it a lot better.
There was a pretty tight battle for owners' point standings, and the 2 car. Now Richard Childress' car for Clint Bowyer has taken over the owners' points lead over the 20 car of Joe Gibbs. That 20 car, by the way, had 9 wins this year. Most of those coming with Tony Stewart. Here's the 18 car of Kyle Busch trying to work his way through some traffic.
Yeah, he just kind of passes him wherever he catches him. Inside outs, whatever lane they give him is where he can take that car.
Doesn't slow him down much either. I saw 18 car catching all this traffic, and I thought maybe this is an opportunity for Jeff Burton to make up a little ground, but last lap, Kyle Busch beat Jeff Burton by 10.
Kyle Busch has 19 victories this year in 69 starts. He has 8 in Cup, 8 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and 3 in the Truck Series, and 69 races. That's a busy driver.
Busy driver and getting it done too while he's busy. See Jeff Burton here in second. He's about just over a second and a half back of Kyle Busch right now. Been wondering here if Jeff thought, knowing he couldn't run with Kyle Busch on fresh tires, if he saved a little bit here, knowing that maybe his car would be a little bit better on the longer run. Be interesting to see as we get a few more laps on the tires, but And Kyle Busch jumps up there so fast. See a battle for 13th here. David Reagan and Marcus Ambrose. Reagan had at one time worked his way up into the top 5. He elected to come in last time and get some tires on that car, and you can see he's battling the handling on that a little bit loose as Ambrose is going to try to take the spot away from him, and will.
Hey, Marcus Ambrose came into the series 2 years ago. Everyone said, well, he's an accomplished road racer from Australia, but he'll have a hard time getting a hold of these ovals, and he has done a tremendous job adapting himself to oval track racing here in NASCAR. Let's get you up to speed on what's happening with our lead car, starting with Kyle Busch and Shannon.
Well, it's been pretty uneventful for Kyle Busch. His car has been great all day. The team not saying much over the radio. Kyle Busch is making his way around the track. Of course, Jeff Burton behind him looking to hunt him down, but all good with that 18 car, smooth sailing ahead. Jamie.
And Jeff Burton, he last came in, what lap was that? About 96 he came in, and he had a vibration, and they fixed that, and he's been pretty quiet on the radio, but he did joke with his team. He said, guys, this race isn't going to be done until tomorrow. Well, we have 15 minutes until tomorrow, so he's a happy camper looking for a win, running second right now. Mike?
Jamie, early on in this race, Brad Keselowski was screaming about his race car. It was just way too loose. He said on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 8. They've made adjustments throughout the night, and it's down to what he says is a 4. Oceans of difference. He says the car's real good right now, works real well on the bottom of the racetrack, as we can see right here as he tries to make a move. They're off the corner, Shannon. He's real happy and is moving his way to the front.
Well, Mike, about 15 laps ago, Mike Bliss, who's running right there in the 4th position, said that the car was getting loose. His crew chief came over the radio and said, just drive it out. It will get better. The car will come to you. So that's what they're doing right now. Mike Bliss did struggle with this car during practice, was worried about the balance. But other than that loose condition, car's pretty good. Jamie?
And behind him, Clint Boyer. This team is just killing the competition with consistency. The last 6 races, they've been the top performing car with another top 5 run right now. Car's pretty good. All these drivers pretty much quiet, not complaining about their cars at this point. Behind him, Carl Edwards, the man who's trying to beat the 2 car, has creeped up on Clint Boyer. It's always an exciting battle, but I'm afraid if they stay like this, it's not going to be enough points to put a dent in that points lead by the 2 car at Clint Boyer. Behind them, Casey Kane has turned up the wick. He struggled early on tonight, but they made some adjustments, and we interviewed him under that rain delay, and he was thrilled with the car. He was having fun. He worked up a sweat and said it was hot in there, having fun. He was running up by the wall. So see if Casey Kane can get in the mix. You know he's won here, and this is his place here at Lowe's. Mike?
Kevin Harvick's been pretty quiet since we went back to green, but early in the race he was complaining that the car was tight. They made adjustments, freed it up, eventually got it to neutral. He got it to the point just before that last round of pit stops where he told Rick Wren, his crew chief, he said, hey, you don't need to reinvent this race car. We're pretty close to where we need to be, just minute changes as this race wears on. Just behind him, Mike Wallace. He had high hopes coming into this race. He's driving the car that he describes as the workhorse. It's been dinged up a little bit throughout the course of this event, but he was so happy with it that during one of the red flag occurrences, he went to his crew chief, Bruce Cook, and said, hey, you know that new car you were planning to build for Texas? Don't worry about it. Let's use this one. He's still pretty happy with this race car, Dave.
Mike, talk about a dinged up race car. This 47 car was the one that was destroyed at Darlington on lap 146 back in May of this year. The center section was all that survived it. They put it back together again, and Scott Zipadelli's got it pretty well set up, body-wise and chassis-wise for Kelly. Been running near the top 10 all night long. Mike?
You know, it wasn't too long ago when Brian Vickers had what he felt was the best race car he's had all night. In fact, his spotter came over the radio and told him, hey, look, you're killing them in the corners, really picking up speed there. Well, the car has gone away a little bit. It's a little bit tighter now than it's been all night long, and he is struggling, Dave.
And back to the guy who started in first position today. That is a 17 of Jamie McMurray. Loud muffler sounds coming through the door and all. Really, really tight race car, though. That's a handling condition that's developed over the course of this run. That's caused him to stall out basically where he is right now, Mike.
At the red flag break, just before the halfway point, Marcus Ambrose told me that the car started off tight, but he felt like there were just a couple of adjustments adjustments away from being very good. Well, they've made those adjustments, but the car just has not gotten as good as he thought it would be. He's running okay, but certainly not living up to the expectations. He told me during that break, he said, this is probably the best run we've had on a 1.5 miles all year long, but certainly he was expecting to be closer to the top 10 than he is right now, Dave.
David Reagan behind him. The last time they came down pit road and put fuel in the race car, it got him close to the end, although they'll need a few caution laps to get all the way on that fuel. The biggest problem was it made the car extremely loose. David said, before we put that fuel in, I was about a 2 out of 10 loose. I can handle that. Now it's a 5, and it is out of control, Shannon.
David, it's been a long race for Jason Leffler in that 38 car. Right now, the car is just so loose. They've made major chassis adjustments on the last 2 pit stops, 2 rounds of track bar, wedge adjustments. But right now, that 38 car, there are 4 fans down here in the pit box who are hoping that Jason Leffler just beats Brian Vickers on the track, because if Jason Leffler finishes ahead of Brian Vickers, those 4 fans will win a Toyota Tundra. So a lot of happy fans hoping that Jason Leffler makes some ground on the 32 car.
Shannon Scott Legacy is one of those guys who got the lucky dog recently and got back on the lead lap, trying to keep it there down to the end of this race. The car has just been difficult to turn from the center to the exit of the corner all night long, and that condition has persisted most of the night. Now, Dave Blaney says he's a little bit confused about his race car, and he said, so loose, I about lost it. That was about 10 laps ago that Blaney reported that over the radio. Good news is they got that car cooled down. It's running at temperature now for Blaney. Doc?
17th car on the lead lap, but there comes the 18 of Kyle Busch to try to put Blaney a lap down. And he will sail by with 35 laps to go. If you just joined our coverage, the reason we're running late here is because we had 2 red flags for a total of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 24 seconds. The first red flag, 11 minutes. Another one, 59 minutes, because of rain showers in the area. They moved away, and so is Kyle Busch in the 18 car.
Yeah.
Let's listen in.
About just stopping for fuel only. Yeah, I mean, if it comes to that, green flag, yeah, fuel only. But if we get another caution, I'm sure it'll probably be 2 tires, yeah.
Yeah, guys making plans as they're running away from the field right now. He said earlier, I was wondering if Jeff Burton thought he might catch this car. Well, he's moved out to a 3.5 second lead right now.
Caution on the racetrack, turn 3, we're being told. Free off a car. They're talking about the 22 car of Andrew Ranger. Something come off this car, but we see the yellow flag waving from Kevin Moss. That is the 10th caution flag of the night.
Well, they were talking about 2 tires if they got a caution. Pretty much everybody's going to have to come in here and at least get fuel.
Looks like a tire went down on this 22 car. Gets up next to the wall. Doesn't look like he gets into it.
He had done a nice job. I was just pointing out a moment ago when we were doing the up to speed, what a good job he had done, just a lap down, being shown in 20th position.
See, the right front tire is flat.
Yeah, it's down, but that interliner's holding it up, so he was fortunate it didn't go all the way through that and create a bigger problem.
Pits are closed, but he needs to come on anyway, so no big deal for him. He'll be back at the end of the longest line on the restart.
I hope he wasn't speeding coming down through there. It looked like he was going off fast, but that's just...
And now the green light's on at the end of pit road, so we'll be able to see the leaders come in for what should be their final stop. Remember, you're limited on tires in this series, so most of these guys will come in and put on the tires they have left here with just 32 laps to go. Let's go down to Mike.
And Doc Brett Keselowski came over the radio and thanked his team for making the changes they made to that car. Says it's the best it's been all night. They're not going to make any more adjustments on this stuff. 4 tires and 1 can of racing fuel, Shannon.
1 can of racing fuel for Kyle Busch as well. His crew told him, do not speed on pit road. It was 2 tires for the 18. Jamie.
Jeff Burton said that he was tight. They need to loosen him up just a bit. They're going to make a wedge adjustment, and he said, don't free me up too much. I got to be a little bit tight for those restarts for the 29 Jeff Burton. Guys?
On 2 tires for Kyle, 4 for pretty much the other contenders. Vickers, 32 car, 2. Boyer up a couple of spots. And 2 tires for Boyer. He gained a couple of spots. See Edwards up 3. Harvick up as well. 4 tires cost Burton a little extra time.
It's going to shake him up a little bit right here. Oh, except Kyle Busch. He gets 2 tires. Quite a few guys got 4 back there. I don't know if they can make it back to him.
Be interesting to see how his car handles on 2 tires, though. He hasn't done that tonight, so if it hasn't changed the balance of it any, then he'll probably make his way back up through there without a lot of problems.
So while they work under the caution flag and gather up that debris and get ready to go back racing, let us remind you for a minute about the rest of the weekend where motorsports are concerned on the ESPN networks. Tomorrow morning, pre-race NASCAR Now edition at 10 a.m. Eastern time. The NHRA action is from Virginia tomorrow at 7 Eastern and Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern. And of course, the chase for the Sprint Cup continues from here tomorrow night. Bank of America 500, 7 Eastern over on ABC. And they'll wrap it up with a post-race edition of NASCAR Now late night on Saturday night at 11:30 Eastern time, that on ESPN2. So while we work this 10th caution of the race, why don't we chat with our in-race reporter who's got a little more work to do now than he did a minute ago, DJ.
Hey, Jeff Burton, you have a copy?
Yeah, simple.
Well, you opted for 4 tires there, lost a little bit of track position. Did you consider 2 tires?
We kind of made our mind up on 4. We had quite a few laps on our tires because we had to pit earlier with that vibration, so kind of had us in a box, but 2 might have been a good idea, but we had more than everybody else had.
Are you still fighting that condition that you were earlier in the race where you just don't have the speed on the get-go?
Yeah, we just fight too loose to take off. To be good later, we got to be really loose to start. So we made a big stab at it here to get it tightened up. We're only going to have about 30 laps, so hopefully we got it tight enough, and I don't know, maybe these tires will pay off. We'll find out here soon.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Good luck.
Hey, Pat Smith, Andy Petrie, you got us?
Yeah, I got you, Andy.
So you think you can make up all this track position on these 4 tires? Have you seen on the lap times that'll make up that kind of distance?
It'll be tough. Everything's going to have to play into our hands there. We knew pretty much we were going to have that dealt with us, and my rear tire changer hurt his finger earlier, so he's playing hurt a little bit, but so we didn't help us out anywhere, help ourselves anywhere there, so we'll do what we can do with it. I know we got the right man in the seat. He'll do the best job he can. Holiday Inn Chevrolet has done us proud so far, but we'll see how it turns out.
Okay, Pat, you guys done a good job tonight. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, Andy.
Being told the 10 car did not have total control of a tire. You got to address a tire before it gets back all the way back to the pit wall, and he will start at the tail end. By the way, he was the free pass winner. Lucky dog getting back on the lead lap. He had just been passed by the leader when the caution came out. So Dave Blaney already had that damage on the hood. Now having to go to the back of the pack for the restart.
Yeah, Brian Vickers there in second spot. He got fuel only there, so doesn't have a lot of laps on his tires, but it'll be interesting to see how that strategy works. He was able to make this work earlier and stay right up there. Clint Boyer there in third. Carl Edwards fourth.
Yeah, those cars took 2 tires only, the 2 and the 60. There's Kevin Harvick, the 33 car, still trying to get his first win at this place in a points-paying race.
Nobody be holding back here with 29 laps to go. We'll see what they've got.
Ain't much give and take here either. These guys are going to be wide open, and as the track continues to cool down as we come to almost midnight here, it's about as cool as it's been all night, obviously, and got to go at it hard.
If I remember correctly, the last couple of years here in this October race, we've had cars spin on the white flag and green-white checkers. It gets pretty wild here in the last 25 laps.
No, we got a lot of racing to do here. Kyle Busch has looked like he's been the man, but this is the first time he's had 2 tires on that car, so let's see how that affects him.
Here we go. Remember last year we had so much pushing and shoving on the racetrack, we had a little grouping together on pit road when it was over. Here comes Carl on the high side. Kevin Harvick behind him. See if Vickers can hang on.
Boyer dove off in that corner hard. Carl Edwards trying to get under Clint right there. He knows he needs to be in front of that 2 car to gain any points at all.
Championship competition right there. They're the two contenders. Reigning champion Edwards, the hopeful champion Boyer. Remember, they've had contact a couple times this year on the racetrack.
Yeah, you can see Clint went down in that corner. He drove over to the side of that 60 trying to loosen him up a little bit. Probably worked.
Harvick back there saying, I'm just going to go with whoever makes the advance here, not pulling down on the inside to try to go by with Carl Edwards.
Yeah, it's making life tough for him. He's not going to give that spot up easy. As they go into turn 1 here, it's pretty close again. That's just getting that air off of Carl's car.
The only problem here, the car that has the most to lose right here will be Clint Boyer. He's got the point lead, so and Carl knows that. He knows he's got a lot to lose.
Casey Kane got some contact with the wall on the right side. See the damage on the back of the car?
He's knocked that rear bumper loose.
Back up here, and now Carl falls in behind. Here comes the 4 tires and the 29 of Burton. Watch him just sail by the 60.
He might make this work.
Wow. Pretty impressive. I think he's going to have another caution flag if he's going to try to do anything with Kyle Busch, but he's made up a lot of ground.
He's coming now. I'm telling you, that car is rolling.
Yeah, he is 2.5 seconds back of Kyle with 25 laps to go.
He's making that high side work. These guys are just with 2 tires or no tires, just getting fuel. You can see Kyle Busch there and just how far Jeff Burton is. He's trying to take that outside line against Clint Boyer.
He says, come on, partner, give me this spot. Got to go.
And Clint's smart enough to know that he doesn't need to mess with that. He held off the guy that he needed to the most, and that was Carl Edwards. See back there, Carl Edwards falling back. Kevin Harvick made the pass on him, and Kelly Byers on the inside trying to take that spot away. Brad Keselowski right behind him.
2 tires not working good on Carl Edwards' car.
Kelly Byers having another good run, back in 7th spot. Keselowski back in 8th. McMurray behind him in the 17 is 9th. Carfax telemetry. Boy, Brad Keselowski just hammering that throttle coming up off the corner.
They'd really worked on this car all night, starting out really loose from qualifying through the first half of the race. Brad Keselowski done a nice job. Not sure his car is liking the 2 tires as much as what it has the 4 tire changes throughout the night.
I think you're right. Jeff Burton's going to have another caution to be able to make a run at Kyle Busch. Their lap times are almost even at this point.
Yeah, Burton's a little faster than Brian Vickers, who's in 2nd. See Byers still trying to make that pass on Carl Edwards.
We talked about this team of Kelly Byers and how they had really come on here. And the outside pole qualifying effort at Dover, the top 5 at Nashville. Dave?
Yep, 4 top 10 of the year for him last week at Kansas. And just want to let you know, he's on even par with Carl Edwards this run. 2 right side tires changed for Byers, and he's running with the 60.
Great job by Scott Zipadelli and this whole team, and Kelly Byers. Big plans for 2009 with that JTG Doherty effort. Moving in on Kevin Harvick now. That is for position. These are 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Okay.
Debris on the racetrack. Caution again.
This is the caution that Jeff Burton is looking for.
Absolutely. He was about 1.5 tenths faster than Brian Vickers on most of the laps there, so he'll still have to get around him to get to Kyle Busch. And the problem is that Kyle gets out there so quick on these restarts. But to have any chance, this is what Jeff Burton needed.
You can see the debris there on the backstretch. Probably off of this 9 car that's been in the wall. It's loose again right here.
Yeah, chunks of metal coming off the back of the car. Little pieces are grinding away on the wall, and so there's some tape off that it had on the back, but under caution here. Let the safety crews check the racetrack. There they come out. This is the 12th race of 2008 that Kyle Busch has led the most laps. He's led 118 of the 181 laps tonight.
He's definitely been the class of the field here for just pretty much the entire race. Once he got through the beginning part after starting back, he just cut his way through it and has passed everybody that's gotten in his way, trying to do whatever strategy they could employ. But he's got a guy right behind him.
But it ain't over.
It ain't over because he's got a guy in third. Let's talk to Jeff Burton here. Jeff Burton, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Man, I got you.
Nice call on the 4 tires there. Think you can get to that 18?
Well, he's pretty fast. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to have a shot. This is it. You know, we got tightened up a lot so we could take off. And, you know, Pat made a great call on that 4-tire deal. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get some. We got to get by the 32 first. He's fast too. So hopefully we can get by him quickly and then go make a race out of it.
All right. Good luck, man.
Again, Brian Vickers took fuel only on that last stop, did not get any tires. So, and Jeff Burton has the 4 fresh tires. Boyer behind him has only 2. Let's check in back in the pits with the 32 team Trent Owens. Mike?
And Doc, you mentioned the gutsy fuel only call. Why did you decide to go without tires?
Well, the previous caution, we put a set of tires on. It kind of picked our car up, so I hated to mess with it. And we got our track position back that we needed, you know, from hanging out on the caution. But, you know, we were kind of set on a fuel strategy where we thought we were only 2 laps short. So, you know, the caution come out, we got a splash and go, put us in second place. We'll see what we can do. It looks like the 18 to 29 are 2 fastest cars, but, you know, we can make them fight off for a 3rd place finish, and that'd be good because, you know, the guys work really, really hard on trying to get this backup car prepared and to come out here with a top 5, you know, which is our goal, and running a backup car would be very, very nice.
3rd place, that's the best you can do?
Based on the lap times, yes. But as we've seen when Blaney and I won the race here, anything can happen.
We'll stay tuned, Doc.
Dollar General car trying to win the Dollar General 300. 18 laps to go, and it's the 18 car that is the leader. But you certainly can't fault those guys at all for trying to roll the dice a little bit and get him up there.
Nothing to lose. They came to win and keep putting themselves in position.
Yeah, it might be an understatement saying 3rd would be a good night after what they've gone through. Hats off to those guys for getting that car prepared that well.
Now, they've done a great job tonight, all day long.
Let's listen into some radio on Clint Boyer's car.
Hell, now we got a shot at winning. That's right. My man, you see my man go right there? Baby, we're going to run 1-2 here. Burton's going to make something happen.
That's pumping your driver up, isn't it? You gotta think you can do it.
Well, it's been a long night. These guys were expected to be in bed by now, you know. So they're having to work a little bit of overtime because of the red flag situation, the rains that we've had. So get him pumped up to go here for these next 17 laps.
Yeah, somebody, one of these double duty drivers could win 2 in the same 24 hours. Jeff Burton, we mentioned it's his last race of the year in the NASCAR Nationwide Series car, and he won 5 times a year ago. Has been shut out here in 2008. Boy, would he love to be able to take that Shoulders car to victory lane here. In fact, in this race, what he won a year ago.
Yeah, this is all going to depend, I believe, on how quickly he can get by Brian Vickers, how hard Brian makes it. You know, Jeff made those passes on the outside. Brian's pretty good at protecting that outside. That's where his car has been good. So it'll just depend what kind of chance he's going to have on Kyle Busch is how quickly he can get by.
For you Casey Kane fans, by the way, Casey is still on the lead lap. He is the final car. You saw him in the wall a little bit ago in the 9 car and brought the caution out. He is the last car on the lead lap in 18th position. Kenny Wallace right in front of him. Good run by Kenny. He's also on the lead lap in the 28 car.
Yeah, one guy we haven't talked about, David Ruderman, who was involved in that accident back there. He lost 6 laps in making repairs to his car, so he's back in the 26th starting spot in having to do all of that. But here we go for 16 more fast laps.
All right, let's see what can happen. How long is it going to take Burton to get by Vickers, and then does he have a shot with the 18?
This is going to be fun.
And let's see if Jeff Burton will go up to that high line like he was running a moment ago, way at the top of the track.
Yeah, the thing that's difficult is all of these guys can pretty much run that first corner wide open with these cars. So it was going to make it difficult for him. You can see he gets right to the back bumper of the 32 car. Here's where he's going to have to try to get up there and go.
He goes high. Boyer goes low on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, he's got some protecting to do along with that. Vickers kind of shuts the door, so he's going to go to the inside and try to make that work.
Meanwhile, Kyle Busch is trying to pull away.
Yeah, Burton makes the move there and gets by, so that's really big.
That's exactly what Jeff Burton said he wanted to do. Get into second now, have 15 laps to try to make a race out of this with Kyle Busch.
He's got plenty of time if he has the car now. We'll see just what Kyle Busch does have. We've seen what he's had all night, but does he have enough to hold off with those 2 tires versus Jeff Burton's 4 tires?
Kyle Busch ran a 29.48.
I just looked at that. Oh, my gosh.
He can't be lifting to go around here. That's faster than they qualified, isn't it?
That would have qualified him second.
Wow.
With 14 laps to go. Championship points battle going on there. 2 in the 60.
We saw this shape up a while ago on the last restart, and Carl Edwards was trying to get by Clint Boyer, but wasn't able to do that.
The reason the points are still exactly as they were coming in, and Boyer's in front of Edwards, is because Edwards led a lap. There's a dark horse, the 6 car. David Reagan had his hands full hanging on to that when he saved it.
Yeah, that's a nice save. It wasn't what he was looking to do, be making saves at this point in the race. Dave?
Still too loose on that 6 car. They made an adjustment, but very, very loose race car for David at the end of this race. Disappointing considering how good the car was earlier.
It doesn't take much to get these things off. Just a little bit. You get them a little bit too loose and you just can't go.
Back up front, Kyle Busch trying to sweep both of the NASCAR Nationwide Series races at Lowe's. Trouble.
2
Leffler
teammates.
and Dave Blaney.
Well, it's not over. Kyle Busch had jumped out there a little over a second lead. It was about 0.2 of a second a lap faster than Jeff Burton.
Pretty good there, close.
Anything can happen on these restarts. See, Jason Leffler, he's having an eventful night. Not the kind of events he was wanting to happen, though.
You can see the contact here. Mike Wallace in the 7 car. And Leffler going high.
Oh, Blaney gets loose. Seen that a number of times.
I hate it when you take out your teammate, though.
Yeah, it's not good. Mike Wallace was right behind there. He was saying, I did this just earlier in the race.
Seen this movie. It's a rerun.
See, right there. Whoa. Man, that's a bad wiggle. That's a bad feeling. We talked about it all night, how that car on the inside gets loose with that racing a car down into the corner on the outside. Takes some of that air away and front end turns too good.
I know, it seems like it was a week ago, but Rusty Wallace said in the pre-race show that turn 1 was very treacherous, and you can see what he's talking about, how cars can get so loose when you get in there underneath somebody.
Blaney in trying to get some of that spoiler pushed back down.
Loosen them up, go! Loosen them up! Go! Put a couple on, hurry up. Put a couple on there, we'll come back. Hurry up, Puka. You got enough, send them out there, we'll come back. We'll come back in. We'll put lefts on in a minute.
Mike Hillman Jr., the crew chief, talking to Dave Blaney. Here's Dave Reagan coming on pit road in the 6 car. He had the big wiggle and save just about 3 laps ago.
Yeah, it's going to get some more tires on this car and see if they can get it tightened up.
They were just going the wrong way. They were going backwards, so they're trying to stop the slide and get 4 tires on it.
Dave?
That's exactly it, guys. I mean, why not? He was going backwards. He didn't have a car that would go forward, so put a couple tires on it, tighten that car back up, and try to get it close to what he had earlier today. And by earlier today, I mean way earlier today. What time is it?
What day is it?
20 car got the free pass, by the way. There is that's Joey Logano. Here's Jason Leffler, and the bad part for Leffler is that he is 9th in the point standings. And a pretty good battle between Leffler and Ambrose. Marcus Ambrose back in 10th, just 34 points back of Leffler. And Jason was hoping to log another top 10 finish.
They're not giving up. They're going to try to get all they can here. Just 10 laps to go, so they'll get what they can.
Blaney back in, a little bare bond there to try to close up some of those holes in the back.
Never good when you got to get that big hammer after it, is it, Andy?
I like those big hammers. Do some damage with those things.
10 laps to go. They'll give them 1 to go at the line. They'll get the green with 9 to go. And later today here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, we'll have a little NASCAR Sprint Cup action coming your way. Stop number 5 in the chase. And many of these same stars will be in that one.
Be a single file restart here with less than 10 laps to go.
What do you think, guys? Burton, if he gets a chance on the start, can he hang? They were running almost identical lap times once he got by Vickers.
He better pull those belts tight. I don't know if he's got anything for Kyle Busch up there.
You better try to get close enough to. We talked about arrow loose and getting up there. It might even take more than arrow loose. I don't know. May take a little tap or something.
Might take bumper loose.
Get by. Yeah.
He's going to give it a shot, though. This is his last Nationwide Series ride of the year. And he hasn't won one yet. So he's hungry.
Yeah, you just wonder after these cycling. We heard Jeff Burton talk about that these tires, they tighten up after the more you run them. So you can see he stayed on the top side of the racetrack there through that whole run.
Now, devil's advocate, how aggressive can he be? I mean, I know both these guys are in the chase, and Jeff Burton is actually 4th in the Cup Series points.
Now, how bad do you want it? That's how aggressive you can be.
And I can tell you right now, he's run this whole time. He's not even thinking about the chase. He's thinking about what he can do to get this car tonight in front of Kyle Busch and win this race.
Let's see if he can get it done. Here they come. It'll be 8 to go. Can Burton hang on to Kyle? Can he get there? How about Vickers and Boyer and Edwards back set 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
Well, he better get ready to run. Kyle Busch stacks him up again, trying to get away from him. Oh, trouble. Mike Bliss gets spun around.
Oh, got another hard lick.
We got a lot of cars spinning here now. The 09, the 52.
Tony Raines involved.
Yeah, a hard hit on the Mike Bliss as he tried to dodge him coming back across the track.
That's another stack up, just like we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Started all the way up front.
There's Tony Raines. You saw the 09 of John West Townley a moment ago. The 1 of Bliss involved. There's the damage. Oh, Bliss. Heavy damage on that car.
NASCAR warned Kyle Busch about these starts.
Well, I was going to say. Yeah, wondered if they were going to make something happen there. He had already been warned, and now we're getting it from NASCAR that 18's been called to pit road.
Tore up a lot of good race cars right there.
Coming up pit road.
Late in the race.
Everybody. No, sorry. He is being called to pit road, but all of them.
All of them are.
Yeah, as the leader, they're calling him to lead everyone down pit road. So
you have to wonder if they looked at that, how they view that. If that was to, I mean, it didn't seem like he's doing anything wrong, but he was warned the first time. But he has plenty of room there to make that restart, and as long as he's maintaining a pretty good speed, there's really not much they can do.
We proved the last time that happened. We looked at the pointer. We could see that he did keep an even speed down to the start.
Yeah. Again, he has from the start-finish line.
He's carrying it all the way down. See, he's still not gone yet. He carries him way down.
See Bliss coming across and getting into Tony Raines.
It's all started. Jeff Burton had to get on the brakes a little bit. Brian Vickers, they're up in 2nd and 3rd, and they all had to get on the brakes. And then Clint Boyer, Carl Edwards, and Kevin Harvick had to get on the brakes. So then everything starts happening behind there.
Remember, the speed's 55 on the racetrack. There it is. He's running 55.
Nothing you can say about that. And again, he has all the way to the start-finish line to start this race.
Yeah, he never dipped below 55. He accelerated from there on up.
Yeah, not a thing he's doing wrong. It's just these guys getting a little bit anxious back there.
And as a leader, you don't want to start the race at the same spot every time because these guys will know when they can go and start anticipating.
They're jamming up. Hold up.
You heard Bliss's spotter. He got stopped, but he got popped from behind.
You still hate to see all these cars get torn up like that.
Yeah, you do. That's where you just have to be patient. And somebody behind Mike Bliss, obviously, wasn't paying quite as much attention. Mike was getting stopped there and was giving himself plenty of room.
John West Townley out of the car, took 2 pretty hard licks, and they attended to him, and they're taking him over to be checked out. Let's listen into the 29 radio of Jeff Burton.
Pat, talk to your official. Make them black flag on that one.
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Already warned him once. Totally his fault for brake checking us there.
Now, that was the 29 spotter talking to the crew chief. That wasn't Jeff Burton we were listening to. It was his spotter. thought that the 18 might have brake checked the field there and trying to get away. Didn't really see that because we didn't see the speed change.
We didn't see what we call a brake check, but it did. The stack up did start all the way up front, and then finally, by the time it got back to Mike Bliss and those guys, it.
And for the people who may not be familiar with the term brake check, you're talking about.
Yeah, the leader will get sometimes in trying to get away. He may jam the brakes on there to get the guys behind him jamming on where he can get away. But this happened back, well, it started, and then Mike Bliss got hit, look, maybe by Mike Wallace. Might have been who was the one getting into the one car there. But again, he has all the way to that start-finish line, and these guys start anticipating where the leader should be taking off, and that's what creates the problems. See Mike Wallace here. It's actually Marcus Ambrose. I shouldn't have said Mike Wallace. I saw him there, and it was Marcus Ambrose that got into the back of the one car.
Now Bliss only had a 20-point lead over David Reagan, and 5th behind him in the points. And now Reagan being shown in 15th spot, Bliss back in 19th.
We're working our way down to the end of this thing. It's going to be 5 laps to go this time by.
Mike Bliss still is on the lead lap. Done a lot of work this car trying to not only keep him on the lead lap, but get to where he could maintain the pace that NASCAR requires when they do go back to green.
2 laps to go. They're trying to get the cleanup vehicles off the track and get some of the areas blown off there. So we'll get the green flag with 3 to go. "13 caution flags for a total of 57 laps tonight. There have been 7 different leaders, 12 lead changes. Kyle Busch, for the 12th time this year, has led the most laps in a NASCAR Nationwide Series race.
Okay, Kyle Busch took him way down to the start-finish line that last restart. He's going to change it up this time. Where's he going to go? Is he going to go early? If you're Jeff Burton, do you anticipate him going early this time?
Yeah, I just think if you're Jeff Burton, yeah, you got to be on your toes for anything. From the time that you get to that line, you have to be ready to go. And you know, Kyle Busch can't now. He has to get to those marks because NASCAR will get him if he takes off before those marks that we showed you earlier on the outside wall. So he has to get to that point, and Jeff Burton will be anticipating anytime that Kyle Busch gets right in that vicinity to be ready to go.
5 laps to go. By the way, just for information purposes, the record for caution flags here is 14 set in this race 3 years ago. We are at 13. We don't want to tie any records tonight if we can help it.
It'd be our preference if we could run these last few laps under green. It'd be a pretty exciting finish here.
Should be. Don't bet on it, but it should be. As far as being caution free, I should say. Listen in to the 32 radio there with Brian Vickers.
Apparently he can get away with it. That's good to know. Brake check is legal. Why they give him another warning?
Hot ends, that'll work. Bill Whalen's up here going nuts on the other channel to the tower, so we'll see.
All these guys are feeling like they got brake check there. We didn't see that with our.
Well, they don't have the advantage of seeing our pointers with the speeds in there. It's perceived as that it was a brake check.
Now we're going to put the pointers in so everybody can watch the speeds on this restart. As we saw Kyle Busch, it is 45 miles an hour on pit road, 55 in the pace car on the track. So he was at 55, 56 and an accelerator from on up from there. So he had not slowed down. Let's watch this restart here. We're going to put both the 18 and the 29 in, Kyle Busch and Jeff Burton. Will be 3 to go when they take the green flag.
The pace truck's got them slowed way down here. This is slower than normal.
Yeah, they're trying to get the blowers off on the backstretch, and they're able to do that now. They had to wait till the field got by. So they got those off so that we can go green this time by.
Yeah, now they just pulled behind the wall in the midpoint of the back straightaway. Here comes the pace truck off, and let's watch the speeds pick up.
Kyle Busch still bringing them down a long way. Right there was the mark.
Nothing wrong
No
with that one, and Burton hung right with him.
Burton trying to get a run on the outside, but Kyle Busch is able to run that corner wide open and on the bottom, and there's no faster way around than that.
See what kind of run Burton can get down the backstretch. He really went sailing up high into turn 3 last time.
Yeah, but it didn't work, so he's going to try the bottom of the racetrack right here, see if that'll work.
Yeah, he's going to have to try to get back to his bumper. Makes a nice run right there.
Got off that corner real strong.
Yeah.
2 to go.
0-9. John West Townley, by the way, treated and released. He's okay. 2 to go. White flag this time by. Black flag into 0-1. Danny Eflin.
See if Burton can make up any ground getting in. He decides to go about the middle of the racetrack here, trying to get a nice run off the corner. You can see Kyle Busch right down on the bottom where he's been all night.
Kyle Busch just too strong.
1.5 miles from the checkered flag. Last opportunity for Jeff Burton in 2008 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series car. Kyle Busch just pulling away by 0.3 of a second. And out of turn 4 at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Kyle Busch will get the sweep, his 9th win in 2008.
Good job, boys. Good job, Kyle.
Kyle Busch is unbeatable tonight.
Yeah, that car was just strong all night long. Burton second, Vickers third.
Boys are amazing. Awesome job. Thank you so much. I love it. Woo!
Kyle Busch would lead 4 times for 137 laps.
In the championship battle, Clint Boyer is going to be 4th and Carl Edwards 5th there tonight. So they basically came out of here no points changed because Carl Edwards did lead a lap.
196 points separating those two as we head to Memphis 2 weeks from now. Let's go down to Jamie Little.
Mike Sibley, the crew chief, he's actually the team engineer. Tell me what you guys went through, your issues yesterday to get to victory lane today.
Well, we fought a lot of engine problems yesterday, but this team never gave up. They went through the whole car, made sure everything was right. And anytime you got Kyle Busch in the car, you want to make sure you give him a good piece. And every time we do, he takes us to the victory lane. So this is a great effort by everybody.
3rd race you've been listed. What is it like to have Kyle Busch behind the wheel of your car?
Kyle's awesome. He's unbelievable. I mean, he lives up to the hype. Every time he gets in our car, he goes out and wins. So we can't ask for anything more. It's the honor to have him drive our cars.
9th win for this 18 team, 9th win for Kyle Busch. That means this team has won 50% of the races entered. Doc?
And for Kyle Busch in the 3 major NASCAR series, folks, listen to this. He has won 20 races, 9 in the Nationwide, 8 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup, and 3 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series in 70 starts.
And he's not done yet.
Yeah. Here's, look, watch the wave, and we should see the bow. There we go. And he'll head for the flag.
He's gotten pretty good at catching that flag, too. Of course, 20 opportunities you ought to.
Let's go down to Dave.
Clint Boyer now, who's climbed from the 2 car after a very, very long night. I know you're probably satisfied with 4th. Sum up your night.
After the night we had, I'm satisfied with 4th. You know, I just got to beat the 60, and, you know, thankfully we did. The BB&T Chevrolet was way too loose early, and Dan, you know, kept making adjustments on it. That's what this team's all about. You just never give up because you never know.
Take the owner's points lead as well by 1 point.
Yeah, you know, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's obviously you want to win the Drivers' Championship, but if we can win it. What's he doing?
What you wish you were doing probably tonight, right?
That's right.
All right. Drivers always would love to be doing those burnouts, Mike.
And after the night Brian Vickers had, he probably wants to do some burnouts too, man. You guys made one heck of a comeback. Did you think the car would ever be this good considering what you went through in qualifying?
Well, you know, I knew the quality that the equipment that Braun and Dollar General put behind us, you know, and Trent and all the guys did a great job getting the car ready, period, much less capable of running the top 3. You know, we had a really good night. We were missing a couple key components, but unfortunately, we just couldn't find them. But we'll take for a backup car, we'll take a 3rd place finish. And, you know, really proud of Dollar General sponsoring the race we won 4 Toyota Tundras for some fans, and, you know, really happy about that.
A top 3 finish, Jamie, has to feel like a victory for Brian Vickers.
And it was a hard-fought battle there to finish second for Jeff Burton. Jeff, what is it like behind that 18-car race after race?
They're just really fast. I mean, our guys are doing a great job. I mean, this is the best car we've had all year, and we closed the gap on them. But they're doing a great job. They deserve every win they've gotten. They deserve, and they're just doing it better than he's driving it better, and they're setting it up better. So. We're not conceding. They won't, there'll be another fight, but, to this point, they've had the better of us, but we won't quit.
All right, Jeff Burton, his last nationwide race for this season. Dave?
Clint Boyer talked about being very satisfied with fourth. You mentioned being surprised to see him up there. He raced you hard, too.
Yeah, Clint and those guys had the save of the year right there. I was really getting excited. I thought, they were gonna keep running like they were, but they did a good job, and they came back. But my guys did a good job, too, with this Scott's Winter Guard Fusion. I don't think anybody had anything for Kyle. That one time when I got behind him, ran second, he took off. I couldn't see him anymore. So did have a good time tonight. I'm real excited about tomorrow night's race, and I just appreciate everybody sticking with us through the rain and everything. It's cool we got all 200 laps in.
The only one who had anything for Kyle Busch tonight was Victory Lane. Shannon?
Kyle Busch goes to victory lane. Definitely trying to get out of that car after this long race here tonight. Gatorade, NOS drinks, 137 laps led in tonight's race here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Was this one of the best cars you've had all season?
It was, I mean, we've had a lot of phenomenal race cars this weekend, or this year, excuse me, but, this makes it most fun with NOS Energy Drink and, Joe Gibbs Racing, all these guys, and Z-Line Designs and everybody, so it's just, this year's been one of those phenomenal seasons for us here on the nationwide side, and not many times do you get them like this, so you cherish them when you can, and sorry everything ran late tonight. We got to thank the fans that stuck around to watch and everything, and so this was cool.
Over the radio, Kyle, some drivers were saying they felt you might have brake checked on some of those last restarts. Take me through those restarts from your perspective.
I didn't brake check. I kept my speed at the same speed I had been running the whole time coming up to the restart point, and I looked in my mirror and I saw Burton was back about a car length and a half, and he started inching forward. I wasn't going to let him have the momentum on me, so I waited until he got to my back bumper and had to stop, and then I went.
And he went right to victory lane. Kyle Busch in victory lane, this 18 car. It's the 18th nationwide win for Joe Gibbs Racing. Alan?
We talked on Countdown, seems like a long time ago now, about this Joe Gibbs Racing team losing some key personnel to suspension and still being so strong. Third consecutive win for this 18 car tonight. Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. I mean, what a strong car. The thing just handles perfect. And when he wanted to, he could lay some laps out that were just incredible.
You get these guys in combination. I mean, no one was even close to being in his category. Jeff Burton gave it a He-Man type effort, and he wasn't even close to touching Kyle Busch there.
So for Kyle Busch's 9th win of this season, and we check the championship standings now with 4 races remaining in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Clint Boyer with a very solid 196-point gap on Carl Edwards. Like Andy was saying during the telecast upstairs, just steady as she goes is going to do the job from here on out for the Richard Childress #2 team. Don't forget, at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Saturday night, that's tonight on the East Coast, our coverage of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Bank of America 500 is on ABC, starting with NASCAR Countdown from here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. And up next, we show you again NASCAR Sprint Cup Happy Hour from earlier tonight. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Kyle Busch, your winner on a long night in Charlotte.